cleanly, but it's gaining back on them, and it was looking good. Under the second restart, things started to go really, really bad. On the first lap, there was a crash between, I think, possibly SRVN and Scuderia Bolesnegro in the Porsche curves, and it was unavoidable. And I managed to hit one of the cars and then hit off into the wall as well, and that put me into. Well, I was forced to pit. And then on the next lap as well, one of the prototype cars had spun in Indianapolis, and as they were rejoining the track, they came into my path. So 2 laps in a row I was involved in crashes. The most unfortunate thing from that is there was unrepairable damage, so the car was about 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers slower in a straight line, losing about 3.5 seconds a lap from the overall pace. And then to cap it all off, just as I was about to end my stint, the engine blew because I downshifted a bit too quick into the Forest S's at the beginning of the lap. All in all, I think it was pretty disastrous, but a hell of a fun stint.
Awesome. Just very quickly, before we continue the interview with James, we are switching streams. So if you guys want to read, if you guys, if are watching on the our Race Department chat player, be sure to refresh your stream, because that means that you guys will then get to continue watching. We are switching. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, there will be the part 2 stream that should be able to go ahead and find that if you are subscribed to RaceDepartment.com on YouTube. They should be able to find that, and hopefully you guys will be able to do that. So we have just changed the URL, so if you have just joined us for this second one, then welcome to the Race Department Virtual 24 Hours of Le Mans. First of all, where have you been? Because you've been less than the first 4 hours. Pretty cracking race so far. Some ups and downs, plenty of dramas as you'd expect in a 24-hour race. And currently got James Reed with us. So you said you had some early troubles in the first stint. Now we're going towards we've about 3 or 4 hours in now. What exactly can you guys now from the position that you're in? Because looking at the position that you're currently in on the sim, I mean, effectively you're second to last in the you're last in the standings at the moment. But you're pushing on to try and catch some of the GT2 cars, and you've got a pretty decent-ish pace to try and catch some of the other guys. I mean, is there anything you guys can try and do in the next few hours that can try and help you move up the standings a bit more?
Well, towards the end of that stint, the main goal was catching that RMI car that was in front of us there, because before some of the incidents, we were gaining on them. There was a gap of 1 minute, and there was a gap of 40 seconds, and it was really, really decreasing pretty fast, and then the engine blew and we had the big trouble. So we're just doing it in small little goals at the moment, and I think our first goal is to try and just get that lap back and then see where we can go from there. Once we get that lap back, if we can get that lap back, then we can look at, okay, there's 1 lap we need to catch up to the next car, which I believe is still the RMI in class. No, it's not actually right now, but yeah, the goal is just get that lap back and see where we can go from there. It's a very long race, lots of things are going to happen to other people, and just got to keep calm for the moment.
Yeah, awesome stuff. And of course now Rui's in the car. Have you had any initial feedback from Rui yet? How's he feeling in the car at the moment? Do you think, has he said that this feels good or that feels good or that's not feeling so good? Have you had any feedback from him so far yet?
Well, in a kind of sadly, I don't know if irony is the right word for it here, but the amount of damage that's on the car that's slowing it down in a straight line is actually making it a bit more stable through the corners. And for Rui, he was having a bit more trouble than some of us braking the car and getting through the corners. So this will actually make it a lot more comfortable for him. And when he jumped in, he seemed pretty comfortable with how everything was. The only drawback is that it does give us a slower overall lap time, but he should be comfortable in there. And he's just got himself a brand new wheel, so it should be a good fun time for him.
Awesome. What wheel has he got by any chance? Is it a Thrustmaster, Logitech, Fanatec?
Well, I believe he had some kind of Logitech before, but with phonetic pedals. and
Okay.
then the pedals actually started to break during the last race. So he's actually, for this race, gone out and got another G27 this time, I believe.
Excellent stuff. I've got a G27 myself. Just don't find time or I haven't got a place to use it, so it's kind of collecting dust in my cupboard. But I want to use it at some point. But anyway, fingers crossed you guys can move up through the field because obviously you guys have had a bit of an uphill struggle so far. But hopefully it smoothens out a bit more, and hopefully we'll see you possibly progressing through the field. But for now, James, thanks for joining us, and best of luck for you and Rui and the rest of the team going forwards.
Yep, I might go have a nap now and then do my next stint tomorrow.
I
Good
think
luck with the rest of the coverage, guys.
I think with the time difference that you might well need it.
Yeah.
I'll let you go. Cheers for that, James, and best of luck for the rest of the race.
Yep, let's enjoy it.
Excellent.
Right, just gonna have a look for more battles at the moment. We got the let's have a look at the battle between is it the UK NL Racing of Brian Fairley against, I think it's one of the Porsches. Yeah, it's one of the Porsches, I think. No, sorry, it's Chevrolet. Let me just find out what what team it is.
Okay. Well, in the meantime, I think my initial stint has come to an end. I think I was actually supposed to end it at 4, but because I've tried to keep on help keep the broadcast going with Ron, I think I need to go and take a break and do a couple of bits and pieces that I need before I go to work tonight. So the next time you'll probably hear my voice, possibly. I may pop in possibly for a couple of hours between, maybe for an hour or so between 7 and 8, just to double check on how you guys are getting on. But for now, I'm going to take a break and grab a drink and go and do some bits and pieces. So now I'll say goodbye. Hopefully you've enjoyed my commentary and of course myself and Ron's together for the time that we've done so far. I should be back. I'll be back at least once, if not between 7 and 8, until at least I'll be back for the kind of early morning stint, probably about around 6, 7, 8 o'clock on that one. I've just come back from work, so I'll still be a bit dreary-eyed, but I'll try and do my best to give you guys some commentary going forwards. But until then, it's bye for now from me, and I'll leave you with Roy and whoever pops into the commentary box with him. So yeah, until then, I shall pop off and say, all yours, Ron.
Thank you very much, Scott. Now, let's just have a look at some latest tweets at the moment. The latest one is from Sim Racing for Holland. Sim Racing for Holland, Porsche GT2 in the lead. All the 3 leading cars in class ran into trouble like we did earlier. Okay, well, let's hope they get on well. Okay, so we're just nearly over 4 hours here of the RaceDepartment Le Mans Series 24-hour Le Mans race, the Endurance Grand Prix, as mentioned by Scott earlier. He's now gone. Let's have a look at the standings at the moment. Okay, so here is the standings. We got Seth Abil still leading ahead of Benjamin Fairman. Now let's see if there's any change to the standings between those two at the moment. And Emil is still, yeah, he's still leading from Fairman, and Fairman has just entered the chicanes now, while Stefan Emil just going past the start and first line. So I would guess it is just over 5 seconds. So Emil, I think, is 5 seconds ahead of Fairman as they go up to Dunlop curb. Now, any managers or any people that's not racing at the moment, if you would like, if anyone wants to have a chat at how their race is going on, you can come in to the commentary box here on the RaceDepartment TeamSpeak. You can come in anytime you like. And also, if anyone is free, you can help me commentate for a bit while some of the other commentators will be along soon. But and it looks like we got someone in the box with me right now. If I can just have a look, and it's Yori Gilson. Hello, Yori.
Hello, hello, Rob. Okay.
How was your race then?
Quite eventful. The first few laps was a bit troublesome as I got in touch with the spinning Ferrari in front of me, Scuderia Valles Negro, and took a lot of damage from that. So I went in the pits, repaired it, and went out with quite a lot of a gap to catch up with, But unfortunately we were able to catch up some of the teams that dropped back a little as well. So just gave over the car to Jeroen, and he's going to try to going for the next couple of hours. I'll be joining later tonight.
So will your team do well in the rest of this race, or what do you think? I think we need to push back a little. What do you think?
I don't know. It's we're just going to try to keep the pace up and see what we can pick up from the bad luck from other teams. I don't think we have the pace to challenge front runners in our class. We qualify 5th, and I think there's maybe we're on speed. We're maybe 6th, 7th, or something like that. So we'll have to see how it develops. But I just noticed that the damage we have is now fully repaired, so the car is good aerodynamically as well. I think we can, maybe challenge some of the teams in 9 and maybe 7th position. But that's just short run. I'm not sure what happens in the hours afterwards. So we'll have to see.
Okay, thank you, Yuri, for your time, and wish your team the best of luck.
Alright, good luck in the booth as well.
Okay, thank you very much, and I'll see you later.
Bye-bye.
Right, now let's just have a look at the standings again. Emil is leading the race ahead of Benjamin Firmin in 2nd. Jan Wim Ensing is in 3rd. Christian Neppeler in the Skype team racing is in 4th. Konrad Bar in the Vida Sport Poland is in 5th. 6th is Diogo Silva. Then 7th, Lee Allen. 8th is either Gary Allen or Martin Bolgen. Then it is Rasmus Sarlo in 9th, and in 10th place in the P1 category is Ricardo Asvecchio for Phoenix Motorsport. Now let's have a look at the P2 category, top 10. Jasper Talborg for THR is leading ahead of David Toff in the Simco Hungarian team. Me Racing's Henrik Lick is in the Me Racing car is in 3rd. 4th position is the HRT Hungary of Bazas Toldi. The reason I said HRT is because it's short for Hell Racing Team. DR Motorsport is of Ben Russell is in 5th. 6th position is the LSD Racing of Paul Todd. Xavier De Carvalho in the Daredevils Racing Team is in 7th. 8th is Terry Chiron in the UK NL Racing. Yes, in the UK NL Racing, I think is Acura. Yeah, I think it's Acura. And 9th is Tibu Toika in the SRS Racing Acura. And 10th place in the P2 category, if I can see, is Rafael Lobato in the MR Corsa car. Now let's have a look at who is leading in the GT1 category. Leading the GT1 category is the No Limit Motorsport of Michael Muller ahead of the RC.co.uk Chevrolet Corvette of Baptiste Quagnon. Sorry if I said that wrong. Oh my god, I'm poet and I didn't know it. Sorry about that. Next in 3rd is the F1 cast racing of Bram Beelen, just ahead of Rare Endurance Renes Johassens. Then it is the United X Sim Racing team of Thomas Patch ahead of the Simco Hungarian team of Daniel Toff. Again, bit awkward there. Brian Fairley is in 7th. 8th is Remco Dwald. 9th is the Sim Racing team of Robert Lanzowski. And in 10th place in the GT1 category is the Serb Motorsports of Renier Hut. Now let's have a look at the GT2 category. Leading leading that is the Sim Racing Holland of Dennis Doner, ahead of Rudy Cuppin, and yes, Rudy Cuppin in the Brigata also, and Marco Felix in the ROM Corsa. The Sim Racing PL team of Sim Master Tot. Then it is Black Road Racing, Alex Curet ahead of Matt Strand in the Satellite Racing Porsche. Then we have the DR Motorsports of Max Gridtrix, and we have Jimon sorry if I said it wrong, for the SRVN Porsche. Ninth is the Scuderia Bos Negro of Bas Swanson Bowl, and in 10th place is the RMI Motorsport of Magda Hard. Oh my God, Hardstaven Bean. Okay, so let's have a look at the fastest lap times in the top. Fastest lap times in the top. Sorry, the top 10 fastest lap times. Stefan Emil has got a 3 minutes 17.351, which was set just about 30 minutes going into this event. Then we got Benjamin Fairman just behind him, a 1 minute 18.539. Then it is Konrad Bar in the Feeder Sport Poland, a 1 minute 18.981. Then we got James Johnson in the THR, Jan Wim Ensing in the SRVN Peugeot. Then we got the Phoenix of Ricardo Expecto. Then we got Christian Nepi. Then is Diogo Silva, Lee Allen, and Gary Allen or Martin Bolgen. And speaking of different drivers, we got a new driver in the No Limit Motorsports. He's just taken over from Benjamin Fairman. It is a newcomer, I think, or I don't know. Is a new man called Robin Haas. So Robin will hopefully close the gap on Stefan Beal, although it looks like it's a bit too late for him now, as Emil just goes over the hump before the end of the straight. Yep, he's going at the end of the straight, while Robin Haas, as if I can find him. Robin Haas has actually just come up to the first chicanes of the straight, so Stefan Emil might actually come into the pits soon to do a driver change. You might find out soon. Now, as previously mentioned, we do need more team managers or drivers to come in to have a chat if you're not currently racing or just have a bit of free time to come and have a talk and see how your race is going on as Emil goes past one of the P2 cars there, and he's having a strong race. He is. He's going in. He's just over 4 hours, and he hasn't made a driver change yet. So Stefan Emil needs to come into the pits now if he wants to satisfy the rules, because the rules are no driver can stay out on track for more than 4 hours, and Stefan Emil has been out there for more than that, so he really needs to come in now. So we're just seeing if he is going to come into the pits, which we might highly doubt, but he might do. And no, he's just missed the pit entry to start. Hold on. Yes, he's going to start. That's lap 53. He's done 53 laps at the moment, and I'm actually surprised that he is able to go this long without having to change drivers, as he comes up to one of the Scuderia Bos Negro Ferraris of is it still Bowl Bowles as well? Bowl, yes it is. Bass was Bowl. He goes past him, going down the straight now. We need to find out. We need to find out if there's any other driver changes at the moment. Okay, we're just having a look at the tweets, and Yoro Gilson, who was just here just about a few moments ago, says a huge shout out to the SRVN German Sisu, who is challenging DR Motorsports for 7th in the GT2 category. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Yuri. With only 20 hours to go, so let's have a look at the battle between that SRVN and the DR Motorsports. So yes, it's Mike Getrix versus the SRVN Porsche. They're both in the GT2 category as they've been lapped by a P2 car there. Good job there. If we can get a view on that, please. If we can. And it's the battle between Mike Getrix and Duron Sisu, and it looks like Getrix is just going into the pits now. So Duron Sisu has just gone into the pits now. I presume for a driver change. We'll just have to find out who else was in the team. We don't see anyone else in that in pit box, so we won't know who is taking his place. So let's have a look at the front. Is there any change? Stefan Emil is still leading the race, and he hasn't come in just yet. He is the. Mind you, the pit lane entry is coming up for him soon, so he might need to come in. Might need to come in now if we can get the cameras on him, please, on Steph Emil. Let's see if he does go into the pits at the moment, and no, he doesn't. He's been held up by one of the Aston Martins. And it just lets him through. Well done. I'm quite surprised that he is still able to go out, and as he goes past one of the DR Motorsports cars, which has been taken over by Darren Russell. Yeah, Darryl Russell. So wish him the best of luck here. Xavier De Carvalho has just passed one of those Chevrolets going down into the just going down the straight. Right, so just have a look at the chats, and Andrew Ford said, what happened to the second place car? Well, as mentioned, Robin Haas has taken over from Thurman, and as a result, he has dropped back a bit, and as far as I'm concerned, Haas doesn't seem to be making any improvement. They're both on each side of the track. Haas going past the start finish line, while Emil is just going past the second chicane, I believe. Yeah, it's the second chicane he's going past. So loads of action at the moment. Let's just have a look for any other tweets we have a look at. No tweets at the moment. And let's see if there's any more overtakes. Okay, I've just adjusted my camera position to make sure if anybody is coming into the pits. So yeah, just above the pit entry, and no cars coming in at the moment. Just seeing a couple Porsches. That's one of the SRVN cars, and I'm about to be caught up by one of those Audis, I believe, or Peugeots. I have to find it. Oh, well, we don't know. And we got Emil just going past the pit entry again. So Emil is, as far as I'm concerned, he's not satisfying the rules. He needs someone else to overtake him in the car. Right, while we're waiting for that action, we are still looking for more drivers to, or teams to join us in the pit box for a bit of chat if they want to come in. Because so far we haven't and looks like one of the yellow and black Porsches is coming in. Is it? We'll just have to. We'll have a look now. Yes, it's Rudy Kupferman. Who is it? It's looks like to be yes, it's Rudy Kupferman in the Brigata Orso car. So and he's being replaced by Sander van Schleich. Yeah, Sander van Schleich. Emil is only about a couple of minutes away from not satisfying the rules, and therefore, I don't know what's going to happen to him as he passes one of the SRVN Porsches going down the straight now. And I do apologise if I haven't seen that on the broadcast, but though looks like yes, one of the looks like Timu Toika went off. Yes, he went off. Just going up to the first chicane, and as a result, he's and he's doing it again. So Timu Toika is not going well at all. Not going well. If we can get a onboard view of Timu Toika, just finding out what is actually happening with the car, and I believe it's a suspension failure. I think is it a suspension failure? We'll have to find out soon. He might be coming into the pits now, does he? Yes, he does. Just coming into the pits. He had a good run, but unfortunately, is not to do for him. So as a result, will this change drivers? Will Oscar Hardwick get into the car? Now, mind you, some of you who might not know this, but though last time I was back at Elkhart Lake, Oscar Hardwick was involved in a few controversial incidents with some people in the GT1 and GT2 category, which involved him questioning about his talent, really. But though he is still fast, mind you, but though he will be able to just get on with it. And does anybody is Timu Toika going to be replacing the SRS today, or is he going to continue on? We'll have to find out soon. And it looks to be like a long one, so no one else has taken this place. So Timu Toika is still in the car. So let's just have a look at Steph Emil. Now Steph is actually come up to the first chicane. Now Steph really needs to come in. I mean, yes, it's impressive for him to be out for a long time, but though you are going to get tired after more than 4 hours, and basically that's why we have that rule, because it's not safe for him driving for that long and not be able to stop and relax for once. I do apologise for my arrogancy, but sometimes that is the truth. And it looks like Emil has gone off, so that is a sign of tiredness from him. So so he's not. So he is doing well, but he really needs to get on with it. Really. He's just going up to Indianapolis corner now. So yes, he found out that he needs to come in now. So will he actually able to go in now? We'll have to find out. Yeah, I think he might be able to come in. We're just having a look at the chat now, and David Jen said, Timu Toika, the legend. Toika! Thank you very much, David. We do really appreciate it. So, whilst we're still on the subject of the LMP cars, Emil really actually needs to hopefully it needs to come in, because we saw him going off the grass. We recognise that he's been going on for a long time now. So does he come into the pits this time? No, he's not coming into the pits. Emil is not going into the pits. Unbelievable! Absolutely unbelievable! Just wow. We're just having a look. I'm just having a look at Stefan Emil, just having a look at one of the Porsches being lapped by the Devils Racing car of Xavier De Carvalho, as Emil gets past him. Now does Emil come into the pits this lap? Because I mentioned it before, and I will mention it again. He is getting tired. The cars are getting tired, and basically, yeah, he doesn't. He needs to satisfy the rules. Ben Russell just said on the chat, saying, "I wonder if he's going for 24 hours." Well, Ben, I would highly doubt that, because as I will mention it again, each driver is allowed a stint allowed in each stint a maximum of 4 hours. And so far, Emil has been out there for actually nearly 4 hours. So he needs to come into the pits if he is able to satisfy the rules. As he goes past one of the satellite racing cars of Matt Strand, or is it someone else in the car? We'll have to see. It's not like racing. Yes, Matt Strand is still in there. So yeah, Emil is not the only one staying out for more than 4 hours, I think. Is Emil really going to come into this lap because he's getting a little bit tired now? And the answer is no. Still, it's just unbelievable. Really unbelievable. Yuri Gilson has written in Dutch, which I managed to translate to English. Which the translation says, "Yep, many made good time, but Jerome is now in 7th in the Porsche, slightly less than 20 hours to go in the race department Le Mans series, the last round of the season, which will be the final race for R Factor 1, sadly." And that's sad for me as well because last year I recently discovered R Factor 1, so a bit sad for that to go. But sometimes we have to move on. Now just have a look at the chat and Oscar Hardwick says apparently Ron was being mean about my awful driving on the stream. No, I'm not trying to be mean. Well, it's not mean if it's the truth. So basically, I do apologise if I was being mean, but sometimes the truth can hurt and it can just ruin your reputation. But I remain to be truthful, and that's why I am going to be. So Oscar, I do apologise. F1 Heights said 3 hours at once is enough for me. Yes, and I do agree with you. And Emil is out there for more than that. So if Emil doesn't come in, he will desatisfy the rules, and I don't know what will happen to him next. Right, if anybody wants to come in come into the commentary box to let them know how the race was going on, or just simply tell us what happens, then we really want to hear from you. Anyone is welcome if you want to come in. But in the meantime, let's just have a look at the standings. Leading is Steph Emil. Behind him is the Robin Haas in the No Limit Motorsport as Emil goes past the pit lane again. We got Jan Wim Ensing in third. In fourth position is Conrad Barr as we got another pit stop battle, I believe. Between P4 and P5, that is Conrad Barr and Christian Nalepi. And Conrad Barr is just ahead of Nalepi in the pits. And who is going to go away first? We're just waiting nervously for what is going to happen next. And we just got a message from Ben Russell says, I'll jump in for 5 if you want. Any time if you want, okay? Hey Ben, that's okay. And looks like Conrad Barr has been released first, so Conrad Barr still stays out in 4th position. So he is able to continue on with his charge. Just having a look at the. Now we're just going to have a look at Stefan Meal if he is if he wants to if he's trying to come into the pits soon. He really needs to come into the pits. We are actually deeply worried about this now. So Ben Russell, I have got your message. If you haven't heard it, if you want to come into the pits, that's entirely fine. You can come in now if you want to. As we see some Meal just going past one of the Golf Aston Martin cars with the Alan Simonson tribute roof on it. You can see the Danish flag on top of it. As Emil catches up to one of those one of the rc.co.uk Chevrolet Corvettes. So he's actually a couple of tenths off in the or is that someone else? Yeah, I think it's someone else. It's Damon Chow.
Afternoon.
Looks like we got we got Ben Russell in the box. So hello Ben, how are you?
Not too bad, mate. Bit tired from that stint, but not doing too bad. How about yourself?
I'm fine. So did you encounter any problems during your stint?
Everyone was pretty well behaved. We've set our car up more for, say, to keep it stable. A lot of the cars are going just flat out for straight line speed, but we're still having one or two issues keeping the back under control.
Ben, I do apologise for interrupting you, but though we do have Emil going into the pits for a driver change. So while if he does go into the pits for a driver change, let's just continue on with this conversation. So yeah, you're saying you had a good stint so far.
Yeah, it's not been a bad stint. One or two mistakes from myself, but it's been pretty good. Everyone seems to be well behaved on the track at the moment, so yeah, it's going quite well.
Okay, I've been told that I've been wrong by Matt Richards saying the limit for being out on track is not 4 hours. So I do apologise, but sometimes the recommendation is 4 hours, like I've been told. So yeah, so I do apologise for that. So Ben, is your team behaving as well?
Yeah, we're doing quite good. We only really got a last minute entry, so we haven't had much time to set our car up and so on and so forth. But considering that, I don't think we're doing too bad. I mean, we're all working quite well together. We've got spotters out, so we know everything that's coming up behind us. Just makes it that bit easier, doesn't it?
Yeah. Right. I just got confirmed that someone has taken Emil's place, and that is Rafael de Borges in the. As a result, Robin Haas may have caught up to him. So Ben, thank you very much for coming with me. Going into the box and talking with me. So thank you very much.
No worries. I'll see you later.
See you later. I just got a message from Yuri Gilson saying the maximum driver stint of the is 66% of the total race distance. So that's not that's not 4 hour maximum. It's more so the maximum is more like around 15 to 16 hours. If I'm right or wrong, just tell me in the chat if it's around 15 to 16 hours. We just got another message from Alexandra Scene saying, "Hi guys, nice stream," and thank you very much, Alexandra. We do our best if we can. Right. let's try and follow Django Silva in the ROM new car, and he seems to be doing well. He's bit of a lonely race, but we'll just hope for the best with him as he just goes up near the pit. Just goes past the pit entry now. Now we're just the total laps being done by the leader at the moment is 60 laps, and the only driver who's on level with him at the moment is the number 2 is in place number 2 Robin Haas in the No Limit Motorsport, who is actually if I can find out, is actually about nearly, I don't know how many seconds behind he is. Hold on, let me just have a look. 43 seconds behind him. Alexander Sini says, "Go THR, go Tolberg, go JJ, and go Mike Bell." That was fantastic from Alexander Sin, and from H Class said solid stints from Stefan Beal, as always. Yes, I do apologise if I was being a little bit hypocritical earlier. Yes, I'm just I'm just, I don't know, I'm thinking of. So we're only just about we're just nearly 4 hours. Well, we're just coming up nearly 4 hours of the race, and these are the current standings for the 24-hour race of Le Mans, and the last event of the Race Department Le Mans series, and the last one to use R Factor 1. Here are the standings at the moment. Rahel Borodais leads for RC France Racing Team in P1. Yes, position 1, P1. Yeah. In second place in the LMP1 category is Robin Haas. Behind him is Jan Wim Ensing in the SRVN. Then it is the Feeder Sport Poland of Konrad Barr. Then it is team. Then it is the Skype team. Yes, it's the Skype team racing of Konrad Devbev. Then we got the ROM new car of Diogo Silva. Then we got the satellite racing of Lee Allen. Then we got the 1066 racing. Yes, the 1066 racing car of G Allen or Bolgen. So good work from them both so far. And we got James Johnson just running out the top 10 in the P2 category. The top 10 overall is David Toff in the Simco Hungarian team. And I do apologise, but though we seem to have a little bit of a technical difficulty with the broadcast, so we'll be back very shortly. Yeah, it's actually a broadcast just got disconnected. And we'll be back about in a sec. We do apologise for this, but we'll be back soon. Okay, the broadcast seems to be entered the back of the game, and we'll be back with you shortly. But in the meantime, let's just have a look at a couple of tweets. We got one from Wayne Reed, which just says, "Can you please get me to do the cam work? I talk about stuff none of us has could see the point in that." Look, excuse me, I'm trying my best to do my work here, and you're just completely acknowledging that, so saying that I'm doing rubbish work. I'm trying to do my best here, and you're just ignoring the fact that you just want to do a bad job. I'm sorry about that. Yes, commentary is hard work, and I am basically new at this stuff, so basically, I do need a little bit much more support here. I do apologise. So. So, but anyway, thank you, Wayne, for that message. Oh, it looks like we got Robin Haas just taking off one of the one of the P2 cars, I think. Yes, and I do apologise, but unfortunately, my my just my game just got disconnected, so I do apologise for that. We'll be back on in a sec. Okay, so Wayne Reed just said that's not the point I made. Look, the point you made is that you want me to do some camera work instead of commentary work, which I'm sorry, but I can't do well at camera work, unfortunately. Commentary work, unfortunately, in the sim racing league, well, in the sim racing community, is pretty much one of those things that I like to do, but basically I don't know what to say. Really comes back to that. And Thomas Burher says, I love the commentating, but it would be cool to see some action which is being commentated, not complaining. But thank you very much, Thomas. We will try our best on this. So thank you very much. And your Gilson just said, right. So I'm just gonna say one of those things I say after the people say after Big Bang Theory. Cockamamie, Wayne Reed, Wayne Reed, focus on the commentary. Yes, I will do that, and basically I'm just trying to do a good job. Now, like I said, I do apologise. The my R factor seems to, has crashed, and we'll be back on there in a sec. It might take a while. But in the meantime, let's have a look at the standings at the moment. Rafael Bosradis is leading ahead of Robin Haas. Yamwim Ensing is in third. Conrad Barr is in fourth with Tomek Kemp in fifth, who's just taken over in the Skype team racing. Then we've got the ROM new car of Diogo Silva. Brandon Warren is in seventh. Eighth is James Johnson ahead of either Gary Allen or Martin Bolden in ninth. And 10th place is David Toff. I just got a message from Martin Rasmussen, says, keep it up, don't sweat it. Thank you very much. Right, this meaning I want you to do both. Right, just reading another tweet from Wayne Reed. It says, I want you to do both. I'm sorry, Wayne, but I cannot commentate and do camera work at the same time. We already got someone for that, which is Mr. Mark Bijul. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And to be fair, he is actually doing a brilliant job. To be fair. Fastest lap of the race at the moment is still by the RC France racing team of Rafa Bosris. Well, yeah, I think it is. The best lap time by him is 1 minute 17.350. So good job for him so far. Right, Shoes wants to know what is the TeamSpeak password. Shoes, if you want to go onto TeamSpeak, the password is I'll just type in the message board just to make sure. Right guys, just to let you know that I've only got about nearly an hour left before I go off due to personal commitments. And the reason for this is it's just I need to attend. I just need to be with relatives on that time. It's a special occasion for them. So yeah, let's just get on with it. Let's just get on with the last hour or such. Right, if anybody wants to come in and have a chat, they can do. If you are watching this on RaceDepartment and wants to know the password of the TeamSpeak, make sure you check. And make sure you find look for our RaceDepartment. Actually, look at the briefing page for this race, and find the TeamSpeak password and information. And but most of you knows I don't need to tell you that because that's good. Right, guys, I'll be back in a sec. Just keep tight. But before I go, yes, Andrew, I will have coffee. Right, see you in a bit. Hello everyone, I'm back. I just need to get onto the server and then I'll be back into commentating business. But until then, let's just have a look at the standings for now on. While we're just waiting for it to load. Actually, France Racing Team is still leading. Just having a look at the flags now. We have got a yellow flag in Sector 1. We'll have to find out soon. If any of you could, in the Race Department chat or comments on YouTube, just tell me what it is, and then we'll just find out what happened there. But until then, let's just have a look at the look at this. And Tobias Sundberg has taken over from Robin Hans in the No Limit Motorsport. It's good to see Tobias back in the cockpit after his first stint, basically dominance back at Elkhart Lake. Tobias is a good man, and Jan Wim Inseng is in third for SRVN. Then we've got Konrad Bar in the Speeder Sport Poland. Then we've got the Skype team racing of Tomek Kane. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. We've got the ROM new car of Diogo Silva. Then we've got the THR of James Johnson. James Johnson's in the car. Then we've got the 1066 car of Gary Allen or Martin Bolgen. We'll soon find out. Then we've got the David Toff in 9th place for Simco Hungarian team, and rounding out the top 10 is America's very own Brandon Warren in the Satellite Racing team. So we've only got less than 20 hours to go. Anything can happen. Let's have a look at the chat on. We're just having a look at the messages on Race Department, and he says Pedro Moro says I heard about this event a few days ago. Too bad too bad because I love to be on the track right now. Pedro, you can join in anytime you like, as long as you got a team and registered on GP costs. If you haven't done that, I'm sorry. And I'm really definitely sorry, because this will be the last events that Race Department will be covering on R Factor 1. We're just having a look on the at the latest tweets. Wayne Reed has pointed out another tweet saying, giving out a shout out to the P2 and GT and the GT teams of UKNL. So Wayne Reed gives a shout out to those teams, and we've only got about 19 hours to go with the Race Department, with the Race Department Le Mans 24-hour. And Ben Warren just recently tweeted, Ben Warren, Oscar Hardwick is now back in the car to run a double stint. Currently 28th overall with only 19 hours to go. Jeez. Thank you very much, Ben. We'll just get on with it soon. So, as mentioned, Oscar Hardwick has taken over Brandon Warren's place. Well, will take it over his place in a few seconds or so. Just have a look at the timing screen. We're just waiting for Mr. Oscar Hardwick to be in the place of Brandon Warren in about a few seconds time. And we just we just have a change for positions 2 and 3. Jan Wim Insing has taken over Tobias Sonnenberg, most likely on track. Yes, it is on track, because Tobias Sonnenberg is only just about nearly 5/10 from Jan Wim Insing, and he might be able to overtake Jan Wim Insing again. I don't think so, because just having a look at the timings now, he's only just about a couple of attempts behind Jan Wim Insing. Brandon Warren is still in the car, and he's been overtaken. He's now down into 10th place at the moment. no sign of changes at the moment. We'll have to find out when I get on the server. We'll be in about a few seconds. We're just gonna look at some few more tweets. No more tweets at the moment. Here we are. Jimmy, we got one from Jimmy Hughes. One of the members of staff. The members of staff here at RaceDepartment have just changed seats. Remco Dwelt has been taken over by Bram Hendefeld. They're both P9 in GT1 and in 27th place overall. Good stint by Remco. Let's hope for a good one from Bram. Thanks very much, Jimmy, for that tweet. We'll just keep on going with it, eh? We're just having a look at some more messages on the board, and Pedro Morio said, I am part of a very experienced team, Sonic Racing team. We already took part in 2 24-hour events hosted by another community. Thanks very much for that. And we only got about, and it's now coming up to it's now. It's now 5 minutes to the hour, just only 5 minutes to 6 here in Britain. 5 minutes to 7 in 5 minutes to 7 in France. 5 minutes to something else in the many other parts of the world. Spain. Yes, so it's Spain, America, Iran, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Australia, Malaysia, Italy, different places like that. Pedro Morio also just said now, but by the way, it would be great to have some moments on board from the GTs being lapped. Very interesting from their point of view, as well as scary. Well, I have to agree with you there, because the GT2 cars being overtaken by P1 cars is pretty scary indeed. You have the engine roar going past for you when you're in the Porsche. Pure amazement. Now, I'm still looking for more for any other team managers to come into the box with me if they have any spare time. It will be great for them to come in. I do apologise if this is taking long, but I will be back. Well, I will be on soon. Just viewing on the broadcast, and looks like one of the Hell Racing Team Hungaries might be able to get past one of the other cars that is in front of him. That looks like one of the SRS cars. I don't know which one. I don't know if it's an SRS as they go past one of those Team Moscow Porsches, I believe. Yep, they're just lapping him now. Yeah, they just lapped him before then, right? I'm just saying it's about a couple seconds after this was broadcast, so they're just going past the Dunlop curve now. They're keeping in good strides at the moment. As they go, as they get ready to go onto the fast straight, the longest straight, and I think he might be able to get a jump on him, and I think he may be able to, and does he? Yes, I think he may be able to. Yeah, well done. I don't know. Actually, he doesn't make a move. I do apologise for that. I'm just trying to predict things so I can't actually. Andreas Slot says hi, and we say hi back. Hello. Right, if anybody wants to go on to Team 3 can have a chat with me in the commentary box, or help me out with the commentary while I'm still waiting to get onto the server. Then you're more than welcome to, if you want to come on. And just to remind you, I only got about 25 minutes left before I need to go off. Just for a bit of entertainment here. That was me drinking coffee. Right, just gonna have a look at some couple new tweets. Right, it says here, team leaders participating in the race department Le Mans, go join in the broadcast booth and have a chat with the commentators. Yes, Thomas, we really do want some people in the broadcast booth. We seriously do. We're just going to have a look at current driver changes. Tommy Ojala is now in THR. Casper Mortensen is back in the Phoenix. and for ME Racing is Bjorn Pettersson. That's good coffee. We've just only got about less than 19 hours to go here at the Circuit de la Sof, a couple miles from Le Mans. So I'm just viewing this on the broadcast. It's not live, but looks like one of the. I think it's one of those. It's not a P1 car. It's much more like a. It's more like a GT1 car, but well, it's not a Corvette and it's not a Ferrari. And it's not a Murcielago. Although, kind of think of it, it looks like. It looks like a dodgy McLaren, I think. Just tell me that I'm wrong. Just got a message from well, I just found out that the car on the broadcast we just seen just now is actually a Saline. Yeah, Saline. Sorry about that. Just got a tweet from Wayne Reed. Can you give us a rundown about who is where if there's a racing to talk about? Well, then I just did that. I think I did. Right, so let's have a look at the right, close battle for P5 in GT1. Same thing. Thanks very much, Thomas. I just found out. Sorry about that. So it's a battle between a Saline and it looks like an Aston Martin. I think, is it? Looks like an Aston Martin. Right, my guess is I might be on the server just about with nearly, let's say about 10 to 11 minutes to go before I have to go. However, if either Roy Magnus or Xavier DiCarlo or someone else that might be a commentator with us has any free time, they can take over from me if they want to. So Roy Magnus, if you're watching the broadcast now, if you want to join me in the commentary booth and just take over my position, that would be much appreciated. Just found out that Roy Magnus is back in the car. Brilliant. I see. Well, if anybody wants to be in the commentary booth at the moment, just pop in. Okay, good news. I managed to get onto the server. Hopefully. Just wait for it to load up a bit. Yep, I am back in. And now the real commentating for the next 15 minutes or so before I go can start. Just need to wait for it for a bit. Right, could the cameraman just point the battle to position 1 and 2 for me, please? So I can have a look at it as well. Yes. Oh dear, we seem to be having a little bit of a problem there. The my R factor just went off again. Do apologise for that. So I will be back on in a sec. Again. Right, Pedro just said in the chat, if there's nothing to talk about in the race itself, just give us a touch of what's to expect from RaceDepartment in the next couple of months. Well, we got plenty of racing clubs for those if they want to try out. Some of the racing clubs, we have some on offer for different games like Assetto Corsa, Game Stock Car 2012. Discussion on the upcoming Co-Masters Formula 1 2013 Formula Truck. The recent discussion about World of Trucks, which is possibly a sequel to Euro Truck Simulator 2, and all that different stuff. So if you want to have a look, just view our forums at RaceDepartment.com to for more information. And we just recently got Xavier de Carvalho to say in the chat that was a crazy stint. Caught a car ahead in the first hour, who was a minute ahead. Then I had to have a pit, then took out a minute of the next car ahead. Bring on the night. And Richard Blocker said, fail Assetto, R Factor 2, ownage. Thanks very much, Richard. Now, Xavier, if you are listening to the commentary right now, I think you might know that I need a little bit of help, because I'm expected to go off here in about a couple minutes' time, and I might want you to take over. So, if you want to come into the commentary booth, now is the time to do it, because we don't want to to make sure that the people watching this stream will be bored out of their minds with no commentary. So unfortunately, unfortunately that is me for now. I need to get going. You might expect Xavier here in the comment box soon, but unfortunately that's me done for now. I will be back at around 10:30 tonight. When we're about a couple more hours in, but until then, this is one of your sole commentators for this afternoon, Ron Squire, just signing off for a bit. Thanks for listening. Prananda.
Right then, hello everyone. Commentary is back here for the RDLMS Season 4 24 Hours of Le Mans. My name is James Kirk. I'll be with you for the next 3 hours or so. And alongside me is my good friend Xavier De Carvalho. Hello to you, sir.
Hi, James. Yeah, it's good to be back in the commentary box after a rather lengthy absence, right?
Oh, completely. And what better way to finish off the season than with arguably one of the biggest events in sim racing on the calendar this year. Now, what we're going to do is, we're going to have a little recap, which I believe you have prepared. I mean, I know there's been a lot going on. I think the Daredevils had more issues. Such as they had at Road America. You've had a stint in the car. I have not had a stint in the car. I wouldn't trust myself with any of these cars, to be honest. But just give us a brief overview of what's been going on.
Alright, I'm gonna try and go as far back as I can and just run through all the issues. Obviously, I can't cover everything because I've been busy with the team, but I'll do my best.
Well, we've also got Scott Woodwiss and David Carter in the box as well. So
and they could probably help me out here as well. And,
absolutely
agree with some of the points. So first of all, well, Daredevil starting on pole in P2. Lars Bruchmann in the car went and accidentally, whilst reaching to flash his lights, popped the car into third gear with his H-box. He accidentally knocked the H-box and knocked the car into third gear, which caused the engine to blow out. And he, of course, had an 8-second gap to the car behind, leading the P2 class, which was so that was not ideal for Daredevils. Later on, we had MR Course. They disconnected during their driver swap, and they've now dropped a bit down the order. THR have had their own issues in their P2 car, and have dropped down a little bit as well, the same as their P1 team, that I was told. Then AGP Consortium are now out of the race after a disconnect of some sort. Sim Racing for Netherlands, their GT1 car is out. They've also had a connection loss, if I'm not mistaken. LDDT lost their connection and dropped way down the order now in the P2 class. In fact, during my stint, I actually got to pass them, which was pretty cool. Monster Energy and UKNL have had their own issues and dropped down the order. RSeat has been leading for most of this race. Phoenix have had their own issues, but they're now back up to 9th place. Simco Hungary have now been leading the P2 class for a while. And yeah, Daredevils, I must say, after that engine blowout, we have had Lars Bruchmann and Matt Richards, besides myself, in the car. And they worked extremely hard to get from, I think we were 4 laps off the lead lap, back up to about 2 laps within the P2 leader. And we went all the way from last place on the timesheets back up to 6th in class and 6th in class, and I think 16th overall. One thing I can comment on this round, speaking from my own experience, I can see a lot of the cars. This is obviously coming with the amount of practice that has been going into this event, but a lot of the cars are being a lot more cautious and courteous, and a bit more patient when trying to pass the slower cars this round. Whereas in last rounds we've seen some drivers getting a little bit over aggressive and resulting in penalties, unnecessary penalties, I should add. But yeah, all in all, I think this event has been going fairly well. I mean, we had a server crash at the start, which was also not ideal.
We did, and I actually got a little bit of information through from Mike Bell when it did happen. I was having my lunch over it, and apparently the server crash was on exactly the same lap that poor old Alan Simonson had his crash at Le Mans 24 hours in real life. And I know that there's quite a few cars with tributes to Simonson, and I know we have a little tribute board as well up in the server.
Just at the same corner as where he went off, we've got a little billboard there. I don't know if we can see it on the broadcaster. We're going on board. We're actually going past it. I think one of the GT2 cars is going past it now, but that's not being shown on the broadcast. Also, a lot of cars have got tribute skins that there's an Aston Martin team that's using an Alan Simonson skin.
Yeah.
I know our team Daredevils has a tribute to Alan Simonson on the side of our car with a Danish flag and just a thing saying "Rest in peace, Alan Simonson." And a lot of the teams are really paying respect to him. and it's really good to see so many of us in the sim racing community just showing their respect and yeah, in such a cool way, you know.
I think it's one of these things which really does blur the line between real racing and sim racing here. I mean,
Yeah.
you had all those tributes pouring in the real life world. You know, I think in Porsche Super Cup there were a few Danish people with, you know, obviously Danish flags on their helmets. I think the winner of the Spanish round had, or no, it wasn't Spanish, I think it was British even. He had a Danish flag all over his car. And in sim racing here as well, I mean, it's been a long time since Simonson's unfortunate death, and yet still we have tributes pouring in here. I myself, with my own team, had a Simonson tribute the week after an event that my team was participating in another series. But yeah, it's really, really good to see. And you know, whether this courteous driving that we've been seeing from people has been because of this, or you know, for whatever reason, I think at least at this last event, at this great, you know, massive, huge event that we got here, everything's going well. I mean, of course, apart from the server crash, which I still think is a bit freaky, but you know, it's still lovely to see that so many people just going out there, enjoying themselves, and trying their best. And we just looked at the Daredevils, for example, as you say, you know, huge time penalty, and they're back up into 15th. You know, they're leading class in P2.
I just want to mention that the time penalty for this event is 9 minutes instead of the usual 7 minutes. So I mean, we had actually at the start of the race we had a penalty to serve from the last event, and we actually had to serve that after our 9-minute penalty. So I mean, we dropped way down, had to work extremely hard to get back up to where we are. But you know what? It's still a long time to go. It's still a long race. It's a 24-hour race. I mean, it's a very, very tough race, and it's very long. Mistakes do happen. But,
let's put it in this respect. There's still 17 hours and 41 minutes to go.
Exactly. And you see, so there's still so much time that you can make up, and there's still time to correct the mistakes, to make sure that that it doesn't really happen again. I mean, for us, we would have rather had it early than have it happen later on in the race. That's our view.
Completely.
Because now we can still fix it, you know, which is it wasn't ideal, but yeah, so far it's been going alright. I just want to mention as well, coming straight off my stint, handed the car over to Sam Fuller, and unfortunately he had a crash to desktop. So we lost about 40 seconds there as well, while he had to get back into the game.
No luck for you lot, is there? Absolutely no luck. But I tell you what, I know Scott Webber, and Scott Webber has his strategies, and I'm pretty sure that one of those strategies is sure to work, especially with 17 hours to go.
We've been on the practice servers, the night practice server, and currently our lap times are quicker than most of the other P2 cars. So I think we can jump a lot of the teams at night.
Excellent. Let's us hope, shall we? Of course, we don't want to be biased towards any teams, but you know, if there's one, you know, if there's two teams I want to see well, it's got to be Mar Motorsport.
Yes, there we go.
And yeah, I got it right this time. See, and of course the Daredevils. You know, good friends of mine. And well, let's just see where it goes in the next 3 hours you have with us lot. So I think it's time that we should go through the full standings as they are. And so, leading the entire race, leading P1 class quite nicely actually, is RC France Racing Team, and I think it's quite nice for a French team to be leading Le Mans here. They're currently, whoops, I've knocked my mic out of the way. Basically, we have 91 laps done by them so far. No Limit Motorsport are next down the road on lap 90, so already RC have got quite a nice gap forming there. In third, we have SRVN, the P1 team, with Mark de Vries in the car on the same lap as No Limit, who I should say is with Tobias Sonnenberg. In fourth, we have the ever-strong Feedersport Poland with Adam Makarski in the car there on lap 89, along with, I believe, brand new for this round, the Skype Team Racing. Or, yeah, I should say Skype Team Racing. I apologise if I muller your name, good sir. Masij Pasnicki, I believe his name is. He's on lap 89, so same lap roughly as Feedersport Poland. Then, of course, we've got THR in troubles again, like you said, with James Johnson in the car. They're another lap back to Skype Team Racing. We then have, I believe, another new team for P1, ORM new car with Hilaro Lopez in the car. They're on the same lap as THR in that lot. And then, we come to 8th place, which is currently occupied by the Simco Hungarian team, P2 class. And so they do an incredible job, currently ahead of Phoenix Motorsport with Jordan Weeks in the car. Massive stuff. And let's see, they're on lap 87, and they've got about a lap's advantage over the THR P2 team as well. Then we've got 1066 Racing, actually doing much better, I think, than in the past, because they've usually disconnected been miles back. So whoever is in the car, doing better this time. Let's have a look. We've got Satellite Racing P1. Oh dear, they're a bit behind with Brandon Warren there. Emmy Racing with Bjorn Pettersson is P2, that's P13. Hell Racing Team Hungary with Adam Kuhn is P4 in class, I should say. Then, of course, we've got your Daredevils, P5 in class. UK NL Racing are 6 in class. And it's a whole little mishmash, actually, because then we come into the GT1 category with, once again, No Limit Motorsport leading there. We've got RC.co.uk second and F1 Cars Racing third. But in between second and third there, we've got LSD Racing and DR Motorsport. And so, from what we can see, huge differentiation between the different classes and where they all are. But just a quick recap on the GT2 class here as well. Currently leading GT2 is ORM Course with Tiago Rodriguez. GT2 in second is Regatta Orso's Eddie Gustina. And third in class, or is it not? Oh my goodness me. No, I'm completely wrong. I do apologise. See, this is how mixed up they are. The actual leaders, are Sim Racing for Holland with Wilfred van der Brink. And then it's ORM Corsa and Regatta also there in third. So loads of issues clearly for most likely the P2 teams here that seem to be stuck in the GT1 classes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to say. This event has been great for some teams and a little bit of a. I think some teams got surprised, or I'm not really sure to put this into words at the moment. I just don't think people expected this event to be or to turn out how it has. They didn't expect it to be as challenging as what it is at the moment. Of course, in the practice servers, you can't really get a perfect feel for how an event's going to go, because I mean, you're just practicing and there's time to run off the track and whack the barrier, but you can always just escape to pits and go back out on track and do your thing. Whereas in the race, if you push too hard, you're in the wall. You've got to push escape. If you've got too much damage, say the car just doesn't want to move, or you've blown a motor or something, you've got to push escape and serve a penalty. And I think a lot of people just underestimated the challenge or the task at hand, and they've decided, let's treat this like a practice session. We've done really quick times. Let's try and average those extremely fast times again. And they haven't been hanging back, so they've taken a really aggressive approach. And some of the teams have paid a price for that.
I'll firstly check. David Carter, are you now with us?
Yes, indeed, I am with you.
Sorry excellent.
I've had a few problems at this end, but I'm raring to go.
Excellent. I think actually we'll bounce off Xavier's point and ask you. I mean, clearly, some of them people are finding it a challenge around here, but is that to say that some people have underestimated the challenge of Le Mans? I mean, it's not only a difficult circuit, but the stints that people are being asked to do are quite huge, and you hear of people taking a month out just to prepare for this event, and still see them struggling. Would you say this is a surprise necessarily that people are possibly underestimating it, or do you think it's just one of those things that on the day you just genuinely have no idea what will happen?
It's surprising in some ways, but at the end of the day, you can have as much practice as you like, but at the end of the day, you've only got one. It's nothing like the race. I know there's a few test events here and there, but it's nothing like the main race. There's not as much pressure as there is the drivers are having right now. I mean, some people can get complacent. I mean, obviously you've got the massive long straight that people go down. Sometimes you can relax too much and people think that, they sort of know the track, but there's a few difficult corners around this track of course, so people can get a bit complacent that way sometimes and make a mistake.
What I just want to touch on what David said about the long straights and taking a bit of a break. I mean, this track is extremely technical, and those straights do sort of give you a break, but you can't stop focusing for a second, because as soon as you stop focusing, that is when you start making mistakes. Now,
Oh,
there's a car off. There's a car off. Who is that?
oh, who is that?
It was a P1. Can't really see who that is. Oh, sorry, it was a P2, but I can't see who that was.
I'll have a look for you. I've got my R Factor live up here.
Yeah, but what I was saying is, so going into corners like
Oh, yes.
going into like Mulsanne corner, for instance, coming out of the second chicane, going up the hill over the bump, and the car nearly takes off on that bump, by the way. But yeah, going into, say, the Mulsanne corner, you've just come off a long straight where you've had a real break, and that corner is so tricky. Every lap, you have to be so consistent in that corner. Otherwise, if you make a mistake, you're off. There's almost no runoff area into that Mulsanne corner. The same with Indy. You run into Indy at the wrong speed, or you brake a little too early, you've lost time. You brake too late, you're off in the wall. Again, there's almost no runoff area there. And you know,
I believe. I'm
you just
sorry to go
can't
across
stop
you.
focusing. Yeah.
I think the guy that you were talking about was Darryl Russell for DR
Yeah.
Motorsport.
Yeah.
Had a very close call with one of the Aston Martins actually there as he was trying to get back to the pits, but he's now in the pit lane. But he just seemed to have a heavy whack against the wall there, and you could quite clearly see that his suspension was damaged. And so I imagine he'll be in the pits. I've also noticed actually that LDTT's Johnny Benetier's in the pits as well, probably serving a time penalty. So
yeah, I think they disconnected or something. We had to push escape. I did see that they were in the pits.
The P2 classes are really suffering here, a lot of them, and it's bizarre. It's one of the closest competitive categories I've seen over the course of the RDLMS. And oh well, this is an explosive end, and we've still got 17 hours to go of it.
Of course. You see, another thing I want to touch on is the guys that are really racing for that full sort of. There's been guys that have been battling for about the full 3-4 hours that we've had so far. Oh, sorry, I think it's more than that. But yeah, and you know, the pressure of the guy sitting behind you for that long, and it's every driver. You hand the car over, they've still got to battle that same guy, and it just, the pressure gets so much that you start taking silly risks and losing focus and going off.
Well, I'll put it this way. I mean, I think I've not really had much experience with Le Mans on R Factor necessary. Definitely not in the race situation, of course.
This version, I must say, is I think it's the 90s version, and it's a lot different to the version that I've raced at another league, and you know, it took some time to get used to this one, this layout. I don't know, it's quite a challenge, I must say, and to do this for a full 24 hours, I mean, you can't stop focusing. Like I said, you just cannot drop your focus.
It seems a lot more bumpy. It seems a lot more dangerous than the current one, and I will say, like, I mean, yeah, go on.
Heading towards the Mulsanne corner, like I was saying, you go over that hill sort of thing, and there's a bump on the top of that hill, and the cars, you'll see when you watch the cars go over that little crest, that little hill, you'll see the cars actually do lift a little bit, and you don't really feel it in the car. You feel like, oh, there's a bump there, but you don't see it as much as you do on the broadcast, where you can see how much the cars lift. Yeah, the track is a bit more bumpier going into the Indy corner. Like I said, if you brake in the wrong place, or if you brake too late or so, you go straight off, or you whack a bump and the car gets unsettled. And actually, in the Indy corner, there's that banked sort of dip, and if you get that wrong, you can't save the car really.
I mean, I think it's a lot more. The circuit overall is a lot more dynamic than the one that I've driven competitively, which was on Race Driver Grid all the way back in 2007. And let me tell you, even on Race Driver Grid, though, you can still get the whole epicness about Le Mans. There's just something about this circuit.
It's just it's something special. Like you can't explain it. You have to drive right. I just want to stop quickly. Just look here. I think we're still following the 1066 Racing P1 car. Going through this corner here, there on the right-hand side is the Alan Simonsen billboard just past the tribute billboard there that RD has put onto the circuit, which is quite a nice touch, I must admit. And then further down after the first chicane, I just want to point something out as well. I'm not sure much of the viewers have seen this, but actually I'll wait until we get there so we can see. On the right-hand side, can we see it? We can just about see it. There's the race department headquarters. We should see it from this shot, I think. Yeah, we just got a bit of a glimpse of it. The race department headquarters in the background there, which the guys at race department have put on there, which I think is quite a nice touch, I must admit. All these tribute billboards and extra features that they put on this track, I think that really adds something extra to this event.
I want a James Kirk billboard. I did pay Marco a couple of days ago. Clearly hasn't put in the mod. But anyway, we digress. Basically, I think we were we've got our Twitter feed here, and of course we've got the chat room here on Race Department as well. And if you're on YouTube as well, you've got the YouTube chat box. We'd quite like it as to use this session as a Q&A, if you will. If you've got any questions that you'd like to ask either myself, Xavier, David, or anyone else who cares to drop in, then please do ask away, because ultimately this is a broadcast for you, and I'm sure there's going to be a few nutters who are staying for the entire 24 hours of it. And so it's quite nice to get you involved, just to see what you want to know, what you want to learn. And the first question here comes in from Wayne Reed on Twitter using the hashtag RDLMS, so that's hashtag RDLMS, and he asked me, Mr. Kirk, where are UKNL GT1 please? And I can tell you that UKNL GT1 are currently P10 in class, so quite a way down the order, unfortunately, if you're supporting them.
Yeah, I think they come out a few laps ago. I saw Nigel Middleton come out of the pits when I joined onto the server. He's on his 4th lap, I believe, now, since he come out the pits. So he's only just come out the last few minutes.
I've actually just seen an interesting point on the chat there about some of the P2s that are slower than GT1s. This actually came about in practice sessions as well. It was so difficult to set up these cars, the P2 cars, in fact. It was actually so difficult to find a balanced setup with speed and grip. So much so that we had to use the Motec telemetry data to actually make a setup. And, for the P2s, a lot of them are actually struggling for speed out of the corners, and it's difficult to catch the GT1 cars, actually. Even though you're in a faster class, it's actually difficult to catch a GT1 car on the shorter straights. And that does sort of cause some incidents, but in another way, it's actually quite safe, or it makes it safer, sort of, because then the P2s don't really go for some risky moves. Yeah, David, what's going on?
What's the idea about David?
Well, Ben Warren's had an incident going through in Sector 3. He's in the pits now, but also Lopez had a spin in the chicane at the end of the lap as well. So a couple of incidents, a couple of moments of action there. Sorry to disturb you there, but I thought I'd.
Yeah, no worries at all.
I couldn't.
Oh no.
We actually
action on track.
Watching
Action on
Samuel
sorry,
Fuller for Daredevils, and yeah, he was just in front of that little spin-off. Am I right, David?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
That final chicane has been edited so that if you do cut it, you sort of nearly fly the car if you hit it at speed. Because a lot of the guys were sort of cutting it in practice and gaining extra time through there. And actually in the driver's briefing, they came around and said, yeah, if we catch you cutting at all, at any point in the race, it's a straight penalty. And yeah, that's not ideal.
It's one of those canes which you want to take it faster than you really should. Yeah. And I've learned, oh dear, I see Brandon Warren actually on my screen just now as...
Whoa.
Well, he's yeah, he's just sort of... broke there. I wonder whether he crashed to the
Yeah.
desktop or something, because that was a very sudden stop from Brandon Warren. He just let past the
I think he's had a
SRVN
bit of an
car.
issue there.
Yeah, dearie
Must
me.
have.
So it doesn't look terminal. He's gone back and away we go, nicely enough. Yeah, that was strange, and it must admit, in these long races, even if you're on the slower cars behind, when you see a car sort of spearing off or doing something which it shouldn't really be doing in front of you, that's quite a scary prospect, because especially if they're in a higher class than you, you know, like if they're a higher class than you, then what do? You know, they're supposed to be ahead of you. You don't want to be going ahead of them and then them sort of getting all rowdy that, you know, you don't want... Oh, it's...
To be honest, I actually had a moment like that during the race where two of the P1 guys were busy. They just passed me out of the Porsche curves, just left me, and there was an incident between the two. And, you know, I almost had to slow down to a stop just to avoid the incident. And you can't go ahead of that P1 because as soon as you do, he's just going to try and take you again.
Right, we are hopefully now joined by Mr. Scott Wood-Wiss.
Hello.
Hello! Yes.
I'm
Lovely
only
to
back
have
from,
you with us, Scott.
no problem. I'm only back for
Oh,
about half an hour
what's
before
wrong
I have
with
to
that?
start getting ready
Sorry.
for work. So.
Oh, well,
There's
it's lovely of you to
something
join us.
wrong with one of those P1 cars. Who is that?
P1 car?
In the
I'll have a
Skype-
look through.
That's Maciej Paznicki in the Skype team racing car.
That's
Oh,
the car
oh,
running.
my
In,
goodness.
The front end of that car.
so that's the car that was running in fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the
obviously an
front end.
incident there.
The front end of that car is most definitely no more. My goodness, I mean, goodness me, yeah, a lovely tribute to what Alan Simonson, but when you got no front end to the car, my words.
Oh, and this is going to be difficult for Sam Fuller.
Well, here we go, yeah, Pasnicki.
Nearly got, would have got
Yeah.
slingshot into the back of the Porsche there. Luckily, he didn't. But yeah, we are currently watching Sam Fuller on the broadcast. P6 in P2 category after falling all the way to the back of the grid. We're about 10 minutes in, and about 10 minutes after the system restart, should I say?
And that's pretty impressive, those guys, because they've had the struggle all since the restart when because it was explained by James. Was it James? No, Matt, when he was talking about it. Well, apparently he was trying to sort something out on his steering wheel, and as a result, because he,
No, it was Lars. It was Lars that
used,
had the engine blowout. Yeah.
Yeah, because Lars apparently uses the H pattern shift, and he shifted it into third for some reason.
He
and that
wasn't using the H pattern shifter. He was using his normal sequential.
Oh, he used normal sequential, but he
tried to flash his lights, and that was on his H-box shifter. You know that on the Logitech G27 you've got the button pad.
Yes.
Just in front, and he accidentally bumped the shifter into third gear,
third,
and that blew the
and
motor.
that just probably put about, I don't know, 10,000 revs into the engine and just blew it sky
Oh,
high.
must
Which
have
is
gone a lot more than that.
well, a lot more than that. There you go. But it didn't engine very good. They spent 10 minutes trying to get it fixed and managed to get it out there back again. And I think, to be fair, all three.
And
all
then we actually
have
had a penalty straight after that as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I think, and to be fair, you you and Lars and Matt, I think all three of you done a fantastic job to get that car back up to that point where it is already, and we haven't even hit the nighttime stage yet. So.
Oh yeah.
It's a.
You know, I must say that it was really cool with the to have my teammates in the channel, and we've really been supporting each other. As soon as Lars blew the motor, I mean, I just come into the server and I asked him, how the tires and how's the fuel going, and how's it going for you. At that moment, he
never mind about the tires.
Yeah, sorry mate, just blew the motor. And I was like, no, you're joking, and he wasn't. But yeah, and then we just sort of stayed there with him and helped him out. And then as soon as Matt got in the car, stayed there with him, and just giving him the gaps to the cars ahead, and telling him who's in front and who he needs to get ahead of, and just some basic team info that drivers need. I must say, without Mike Bell in the server with me, without Mike Bell and Matt Richards, I don't think I would have been able to go as quick as I was, and I don't think I would have been able to catch up to the guys that I did, because they were helping me so much, just telling me, okay, you've got traffic coming up ahead of you in the circuit, watch out for the P1 behind you. he's coming up quite quickly. You know, this guy's been quite aggressive this race with his overtakes. Just shy away from him. You know, you're just basically asking the questions: am I racing the guy ahead or am I not? And what kind of lap times am I doing compared to the rest of the field? And you know, when I was in the car and when Matt was in the car, we were the two fastest P2s at that stage. And to be honest, that was all down to the guys that were on the server there with us and telling us what to do, where to go, you know, that sort of thing.
I must admit, actually, and when it comes to my racing, I'm not quite sure what I prefer. Sometimes I have situations where I'm in the car and there's no one else talking to me, and so I can fully concentrate on the road. But there's other times when I've sort of got people talking to me and, like you say, you know, supporting you, telling you what to do. I really can't tell which I prefer, actually. I think you know, it's weird.
For me, if you are doing a sprint race, it's nice to be by yourself because you can sort of make your own decisions. But in a long race like this, you need that information. You know, and there's the team rule where you go in that server, you keep quiet unless the driver's asking you questions. If you're not asked a question, you don't speak. Which is quite nice because then the driver can still have his sort of alone time.
Oh dear.
If we can call it that.
I heard a crash on my R factor.
Oh.
I heard a huge crash on my R factor. I'm not quite sure what that was.
Well, we're all still alright, hopefully.
Oh, I think I found him. Maybe Nigel Middleton in the Aston Martin? UKNL Racing Aston Martin?
I also see Alexander Schlee for United X Racing's had a issue.
That's the one and only Celine in the field.
Indeed it is. And yeah, it is indeed Nigel Middleton for UKNL Racing. Well, Wayne Reed, here's an update. He has lost a wheel, and he's quite deeply entrenched in the gravel trap there. He's trying desperately to get it out. But he's going to be a while.
Spade out, I think.
Yeah. Goodness me.
We've got the weather for it as well.
Digger.
The tow truck to get out there. We have indeed been invaded in the commentary booth by Mr. Oh, excellent. We've got James Johnson and we have Oscar Hardwick in the room.
There we go.
Well, James Johnson, for those of you who don't know, was the guy who actually ran 9 out of the 10 hours in the last event at Road America. Always Team THR.
Yeah, I'm not doing 24 this time though.
Well, ladies, let's just have a little recap of how your stints have gone. Let's start with Oscar here. Just how has your race been? You know, Le Mans, massive circuit. We've had ups and downs, especially in the P2 class, though. It's been a crazy race so far.
Yeah, we seem to have not had any ups. They're a rare occurrence for us now. It's just been lots and lots of downs. I started the car, and I think on the first lap of the race got incited. Coming through the Porsche curves, went straight off, took the front of the car off, and so we were down about a minute and a half straight away. And I was fighting my way back up to the field, doing a pretty good job, and then we had the server crash, at which point I had to go. And we had Ben Warren in the car. Did a fantastic job, all credit to him, had a couple of big moments, but nothing that he couldn't drive on from. But coming to swap the car over to Timu Toika, he had a power cut in his house, so we lost 10 minutes. And I believe we've had another timeout in some form or another since then as well. So we're quite a long way back at present. I did another stint and then got called away. I've not really been in the car very much at all. But myself and William Tringus should be bringing it through the night and hopefully just getting back up there with other people's errors and mistakes. But yeah, we're out of it really. Just driving for a bit of fun now.
You say you're out of it. There's still 17 hours to go of this race, and you know, I think we've talked about this before, up and Xavier and David. There's plenty of stuff that can still absolutely happen, and the P2 being as volatile as it is around here, you still could be in with a chance. I mean, how are your prospects looking for the night racing?
Well, we should definitely be good. If anything, at the moment, the tyres that we're running, they're not marginal, but they are wearing towards the end of a stint, and you just get that little bit less on the wear when you get into
the night part of the race, so we're quite looking forward to it because we'll have more grip for more time. And
Yeah,
that should
actually,
definitely work to our advantage, and of course, it being nighttime, I'm hoping to prey on any mistakes that other people in the class make.
I have to agree with what Oscar's saying. For some reason, this event, the tires are wearing a lot quicker. You know, it took about 45 minutes or so for us to wear out our tires enough for us to start sliding around and stuff. Whereas in previous events, you could do almost your full stint on one set of tires.
Yeah, well,
This damn heat wave, isn't it?
yeah, something along those lines.
Well, it is about 27 degrees out on the track.
There we go.
But back at Road America, granted we were running a tyre compound higher because there were more corners, more braking zones and so on, and you got lots and lots of scrub through the kink in the carousel, but we were almost at the point where we could have double stinted tyres at Road America, whereas here you're running them down to the canvas almost.
It's extraordinary. It really is, and I mean,
Yeah.
from all the problems that we've been hearing at P2, I guess tyre wear that will burn down to the canvas won't exactly make it much better, I guess.
I think the problem with the P2 cars at the moment is we want them to handle well. At Road America you could take those liberties and gear it nicely and have yourself a very nice handling car. But because of the number of straights here, you have to set them up with really low downforce just to be able to get past the GT1s. So you do that, but as soon as you go to as low a downforce as you need to be doing that with the LMP2s, they just handle like a boat, and it is very tricky to get them stable and working.
You literally, the optimal sort of wing settings are between, say, 1 and 2 on the front and like 2 to 8 on the rears. It's all depending on how you take the corners and how much speed you really
say
want
that.
down
I mean,
straight
I
down
went
the
to
straight.
the 2.8 wing, so the higher end of that bracket, as to practice to see if that would help, and it made the car a lot more handleable, easier, much more underneath you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we lost 3 seconds a lap.
Yeah, it must have been like, at least 10 kilometers an hour slower down the straights.
You're talking more like 25. I mean, you can crack 312 kilometers an hour without draft on our setup at the moment.
Oh, that's perfect. That's pretty similar to the other P2 cars, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think a few of the other cars, THR for example, and probably Simcoe, they're running lower rear wings than us because they've been able to stabilize the cars.
I mean, when I was following one of the, just trying to lap one of the cars, in fact, following them in the corners, I caught them so quickly, and you know that's actually where I got around them. But down the straights, wow, they were just gone. I couldn't catch them at all. And
Yeah,
I think they must be running at least 1 and 4 wing.
Yeah, well, we're 1.4, and the 4 is literally for rear end stability because I worked various aspects of the setup to try and introduce stability, but it wasn't enough for the other guys, so it's 1.4. Ideally, it would have been 1.2, but we couldn't do enough to stabilize the car under braking.
Yeah, and the cool thing with this circuit is actually, you know, you can run such low downforce. I mean, going through the faster corners, you don't want high downforce because that high downforce is going to give you a lot of understeer. Well, that's through the faster corners, but then again, you have corners like Indy, which are really slow, and that you need that rear grip. You know? So I mean, you really had to find a balance, and that for us, for our team especially, was really difficult. I mean, we have 8 drivers or 7 drivers at the moment, but and to find a balance for all of us, that was really difficult. I mean, we must have gone through about 8 or 9 setups before we even found the one that was sort of half stable enough for all of us.
Yeah, it's very tricky, and I got to agree, although there's only 4 people driving for us at SRS today, we're 4 very different drivers with very specific needs in the setup, so I was fairly comfortable with the rear end sliding around everywhere and just going up one on the tyre compound, but I was the only person that could drive it consistently, and even then I was prone to making mistakes on it, so you compromise the setup a bit, and I believe we might be working some sort of engine damage or possibly a wheel issue for Ben Warren at the moment because he's losing straight line speed and there's no damage on the car, none that we can see visually anyway, so that's an interesting one.
Another thing that we have to think about is also the fuel loads. I mean, if you guys are trying to sort of double stint or so, you know, when you're in the pits, are you guys filling up with full fuel, or are you guys sort of half fueling and trying to get the quicker lap times down and sticking the boost down to say like 1 instead of sticking it up to 4, just so you can have fuel saver, like a sort of a fuel saver mode, but still put in the quicker lap times because you're lighter?
Well, we've been running full tanks and then low boost settings just to get it going. And the tyres do last. We can run the full tank all the way down, and that's fine. Got a little temp boost button, so we can alter the boost up to 4 whilst we go around the track. That's been useful for me when I've been coming back through some slower LMP2s, despite the fact that we're a few laps down. In my stint, I had to pass quite a few of them, and the temp boost was very useful for that.
Yeah, no, it is. It doesn't give you like a curves boost, but it does sort of improve it a little bit coming out of the corners. It won't give you too much more top speed, but definitely out of the corners you do feel a bit of a difference.
Yeah, it's quite good. I mean, we've had to set the first gear to be quite long, so you get to corners like Indianapolis and the Ford chicane towards the end of the lap, and you really do have to be on that if you're fighting someone, otherwise you bog down a bit, so it's always worth the extra, I don't know, 10, 20 horsepower that it gives you, particularly off the slow corners, like you say.
Yeah.
Right then, well,
what's currently happening out on track, James? If you can maybe.
what's currently happening out on track? Lots of stuff. There was a pretty cool situation. Yeah, driving. Yeah, there's a pretty cool situation on the huge straight between 3 P1 cars, but they were all on different laps, and so nobody was quite sure who to overtake. But talking of P1 cars, we can now finally come along to James Johnson, and myself and James we've been discussing our dinners, and quite a nice dinner for James Johnson there. Of course, he was. You've been telling me about your recovery drive once again with THR, and does it affect your mentality necessarily when you have to perform these recovery drives? You know, does it put you down necessarily? Do you get pumped up for it? Do you have other people there to try and help you along? You know, what sort of mind process are you going through when you look at what you have to achieve in the next couple of hours or so?
Well, it was a bit daunting at the start. I'm always daunted at the start when you just look how big a gap you've got to cover in about a 4-hour stint, because that's what I'm usually doing. Sometimes it gets really annoying when you start, because you know you just especially when you hand it off the car in a good position, and then you get a car back that's God knows where, dropped back 20 positions, and then it's just like, why? This is like so baffling. And then all of a sudden you just got to get back in the car and go at it. I'm just push anyways. I'm always pushing 110%, so I'm just going all the way.
Well, I mean, I guess as long as you enjoy it and you're trying your hardest. I mean, is your P1 car suffering as much with tyre deg or with balance issues as the P2 cars of Oscar Hardwick, or how is the P1 car around Le Mans? Is it better than previous circuits, worse than previous circuits, different challenges?
You could almost double stint softs. If quite honestly, we could almost double stint softs. It's a little bit cooler. We can actually double stint softs pretty easily. At the moment, we're doubling the mediums without an issue. It's not really a big problem tyre wear. When it gets a bit darker, we'll be able to do softs pretty early on in the evening. So we're just waiting for the time that it starts to get a bit cooler. So then we'll just jump over.
It gets cooler at night, of course, and so I presume.
I just want to.
Are we looking? Go for it.
I would just like to say that everybody that's watching on the YouTube channel and in the RD stream, I think we are about to switch over to the next sort of segment. So if you guys could just either click refresh on your page, and if you're on the YouTube channel, just go and there should be a link to the next Race Department Le Mans Series broadcast segment piece thing. I don't know what to call it. But yeah, basically we're recording about 7 segments, and we're changing over to the 3rd one now. So if you guys could just refresh and swap over, it would be great, and you could actually hear us.
Indeed, and you can actually watch us as well. So, back to thank you for the announcement anyway. But thanks. So, yeah, obviously we've got night coming up. I mean, I don't know whether you want to divulge strategy, but can we presume that THR will be pushing extremely hard on the soft tyres, or on the softer compound tyres, shall we say, during these night stints?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be doing double stints on them.
Well, it's certainly. Well, let's hope it works in your favour. There's a lot of ground to catch up.
I've just been enjoying it really, pushing my way back through, seeing other P1s drop out or drop back, and having a little bit of a laugh as well when I see them on the side of the road.
There's no arguing that James doesn't or does like his racing, because he raced for 9 hours in the last event.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm a bit nuts, I am, yeah.
And I mean, let's not forget, you're not exactly stopping here. You were telling me about the team, the team getting involved in V8 later today, and
it's actually on now. It's actually on now. We've got half the team is out doing V8s at the moment, so we're a little down on numbers, but we've got at least 2 drivers for each team at the moment, so we're just doing what we're doing, and then
of course you personally are then off to Bathurst in a couple of weeks for another GT competition. How do you find the time to fit it all in? It's really extraordinary, I find.
It's not been easy lately, because I've had about I think over the past 3 or 4 weeks I've had about 10 or so races I've had to squeeze in, so it's been a bit hectic. So
I've got a single racer. I've got a single racer race. Single racer race. What am I on about? I've got a single seater race every 2 weeks. Compared to your schedule, that just seems nothing. And one little thing I would actually quite like to know is, clearly not all these cars are the same. They all have their different handlings. I mean, the difference between like V8s, P1 cars, GT cars, really are quite varied. So how do you personally, as a driver, deal with the changes? Do you find it quite easy to just sit back in the car and get used to the handling, or does it take quite a bit more time?
I think before he answers that question, James,
Yep.
just tell us how long you've been sim racing before you answer that question, because obviously if you've been racing for or sim racing for a long time, you sort of get used to the way that you do your racing.
I've been pretty much sim racing for God knows how long. I can't even go back. It's like the first proper time I actually did it was in GTR, but you could go back to like F1 2000.
That's quite long.
All that type of
Since
stuff.
the wheel was invented, then basically.
yeah, pretty much. But yeah, it's just getting used to different cars. I've not really had a problem with that. I can just get into a car. But there is some cars I just don't like doing front wheel drives. Anyone that knows me, I just don't like doing front wheel drives. I seem to struggle more in front wheel drives than doing anything else. But if you give me a car with a bit of downforce or a GT car, I can pretty much work wonders with it.
Is that the reason why you didn't do the tall ones like old Clio's?
Yeah. Oh, and I pretty much dedicated my time to RDLMS because they mostly clashed and we needed a driver to do full time. Yeah, I did kind of jump that for this.
And it's a better series.
Yeah.
I'm saying nothing.
Yeah, I'm not saying anything at all.
I see.
That's not on me. That's not on my head.
Not taking sides, I see. Very well.
Don't upset anyone, obviously.
No, clearly not. No. No, absolutely.
Should I just leave now? Because I can do that.
Really run. Tell you what, let's sidetrack with a fun fact here.
Yeah.
Wayne Reed sends in this little fact, and it's a lovely fact about Alan Simonson. That obviously we're here at Le Mans. If you haven't checked it in the broadcast already, there is a lovely tribute board up. Thanks to, I think it was Marco and I think there were 2 people who did the specific race circuit. I can't remember precisely.
I only spotted it this morning.
It's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. I was just doing one of my warm-up laps before the start of the race, and I noticed the board, so I was like, wow.
Yeah, Wayne comes and tweets us #RDLMS, And he says that before he died, Simonson left us a gift. He actually broke the lap record at Mount Panorama Circuit, which of course you were going off to, James, with a 2-minute 04.9 in a 4.58 in February. So I believe he's beaten the GT world record lap around there. And so it really just kind of it kind of really shows how much of a talent we're losing, that someone's able to break the lap record around something such a challenging circuit as Bathurst, and it's one of the greatest circuits to do it at as well.
Probably one of the harder tracks to do it at as well. I think.
The video of that lap is incredible. There is actually an onboard video of him doing that lap, and it is a fantastic piece of driving to watch. So if anyone can find, if anyone is able to search for it on YouTube right now or at some point in the next few days, do so, because it's an absolutely fantastic display of driving from Alan there, and I think it's definitely a nice piece that it's definitely the best memory we have of him. I think of him breaking that record in such a car. So yeah, it's brilliant.
I think actually there's a lot of great videos about Bathurst as well. I remember there was this one video where I believe it's Jenson Button going around Bathurst in an old McLaren car. And there's also it made me really wonder, actually. Sorry about going off topic about Le Mans and stuff, but of course we're looking at the Australian Grand Prix here, or not here, but over in Melbourne. And there's been for a few years now sort of talkings of, do we really want it at Melbourne anymore? Do you want to move it? Do you want to make it a night race even? What are your guys' views on possibly having the Grand Prix at Bathurst, maybe?
Oh, that would be a real challenge for the drivers, I must say. I mean, Bathurst in itself is it's tight, it's bumpy, it's extremely difficult just to drive consistently, and to get any kind of a lap time down at Bathurst is an achievement. To have a Grand Prix there, wow. that would be epic.
I think Pirelli might have their work cut out somehow.
Yeah, I do think that they might not make it over the top of the hill.
we actually had a comment. Speaking of Pirelli, we had a comment from Lars when he blew the motor saying, "Oh, freaking Pirelli." Asking if Pirelli had made the engine.
Pirelli are far too, they're bashed far too much, I feel, because in the end, there's a lot you can do with setup of Formula 1 cars.
Yeah.
And in the end, if the likes of Red Bull and Mercedes are not willing to change the setup to save the tyres, then that's their fault. Not Pirelli's. I mean, Lotus, Ferrari and Force India seem to do it just fine.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And so I think it's kind of unfair that they've had the tyres changed against their favour, because now you can I'm not sure whether it's going to be a trend, but Force India was definitely much less stronger than they have been in recent races. They were quite clearly just in the midfield, and McLaren have now overtaken them properly, I think.
Yeah.
The thing is that McLaren told Pirelli, and Pirelli agreed that Pirelli should have put their foot down a lot more, and said because the three teams which were against new tyres were Ferrari, Lotus, and Force India. And to be fair, Pirelli let the teams kind of control exactly how this whole process works, rather than Pirelli's putting their foot down and saying, "Look, this is the situation. These tyres are not safe because their delaminations happening." Okay. It's effectively what they're doing is they're there to make a tyre, and they're there to basically just to make, obviously if there is any concerns, to fix them, not necessarily to be there at the team's beck and call. So effectively, in the nicest possible way, Pirelli had to should have really, if you can see what I mean here, stuck two fingers up at Lotus, Ferrari and Force India and said, "Look, these tyres aren't safe, we're changing them whether you like it or not," and then just let those three deal with it.
They just let the teams dictate the agenda, and
exactly.
Basically, it all went to pot, really, and now we're stuck in this situation. Well, not stuck in a situation anymore, because now they all agree because the tyres started blowing up.
Mike Bell has tried to fool me here, give me a little poke, saying that the fun fact is that Vettel's never won in January. Of course, those of you who follow the F1 calendar will know that there has never been a race in January.
Yes, there has.
Has there?
Correction.
No.
Yes, there has.
Well,
there has.
Before Vettel's time, though.
Well, yeah, before Vettel's time, yeah.
Before Vettel's time.
They used to back in the 60s and the 70s. They used to go over to South Africa for the first race in Kyle Army,
Yeah.
and they always used
Oh,
to hold
that's
the
true.
race. It was either January 1st or January 2nd. So the drivers used to go over there with all their I don't know, with their girlfriend and their wives or something like that. And they all used to, and you'd never get this in real life F1 anymore. They all used to go over, and all the drivers and all their kind of other halves and everything. They used to spend Christmas together in South Africa, and then they go to the circuit in Kyle Army, and obviously then they go and do a motor race, which is like the second race of the second day of the year. You get an F1 race. I mean, when would that happen now? You know, I think that'd be quite a quality New Year's Day instead of watching the football. Nothing against football on New Year's or Boxing Day, but how great would that be? You know, you just turn on New Year's Day or day after New Year's Day, and you get an F1 race to watch. How brilliant would that be?
But first point I'll bring up
Well,
from that.
half-
Can you
well,
can
I
you
don't think
imagine?
Kimi will do too well because he'll be.
That's
off
exactly
drunk.
what I was going to say. I think I could not imagine Kimi Raikkonen around a Christmas Eve table.
That's
just-
the
that's the thing.
Oh!
That's the thing. He wouldn't be around the table; he'd be under it.
Yeah, you'll be out of it before you even know it.
But on the other event, would we like to see non-championship races back again? Because obviously the calendar as it is now is suited, of course, from March to November, and I doubt that's going to change even for newer. I mean, obviously, I think we're looking at possibly a 21 race calendar for next year. I don't think it's going to change that much, but surely a non-championship race would be quite cool. And
it would just it would be cool. It would be really cool, but
Well,
I think it's just a bit too expensive to have.
yeah, that's
for
exactly.
the teams to have.
That's exactly the point I was
a
going to make.
non-championship race.
It'd be great to see it, but people would start, you know, in this whole kind of area where we're trying to cut costs and save money and make sure that F1's not as expensive as it used to be. As much as a brilliant idea, I would love a non-championship race because I think it'd be great. It'd be a great opportunity and a great chance to give some of the young drivers who you always see that you have a driving
I
test
was thinking.
a chance in the cars in a race situation.
That's what I was thinking. It should be only young drivers only, or drivers who haven't done F1 before, to only have a go at this non-championship race.
And also, you say it would cost it's a lot, but surely we could make use of a circuit which is already being used for testing. Maybe. I mean, we have our first F1 test for 2014 as early as January. And we're not quite sure where it is, but surely someone could make use of the circuit, maybe have... Of course, you've got to think it's testing on the Monday to the Thursday. How about another race weekend on the end of the week to allow new drivers to have a little go in the car then? That'd be a great young drivers test, especially.
Well, you know, we've had like these young drivers like Abu Dhabi tests in Abu Dhabi, obviously, and they always do it like the weekend after. They always do the week or a couple of weeks. The teams stay out there in order to go and do the young driver test, so that allows them to, you know, they don't have to go anywhere. It doesn't take a very long to set up or anything because everything's already there from the Grand Prix weekend. What would make a lot of sense if they did if they had the last race back to Abu Dhabi again, and then if they then ran it so that effectively they could do the Grand Prix there, keep as much of the team as they need, not all of it, but kind of like, you know, but have like a smaller team for the young drivers, and then if they needed to, they could just run like just a race. It wouldn't need to count for anything like a championship or anything or any points. It'd just be pure the fact to give them a run out in a car in a race situation and see how they all get on each other. Even if it's just one car per team, it probably would be a nice spectacle to see that.
Right, well, while we're still on our little digression, I should say, on F1, I think it's worth, as we near, well, I think it's 8 o'clock British Standard Time, wherever you are in the world, welcome to you all, lovely for you to join us. We're going to give you a quick update on the top 3 for each of the classes so far at the moment. So, leading the P1 class still is RC.France Racing Team. They are currently on their 105th lap with No Limit Motorsports with Tobias Sonnenberg on the same lap. SRVN with Mark De Vries have also caught up with our seat. They're also on their 105th lap. They are 2 laps clear of Skype Team Racing, who had a massive off earlier. I think it was about half an hour ago. Lost the entire front end of the car. Had to go in and pit. Right away behind now. So plenty. Well, the top 3 I think are quite clear unless they have a disconnection. Plenty of battling still to go on with the 16 hour 50 minutes we've still got to go. Leading P2 is THR. Actually, no, I lie. Sorry, this is crazy order once again. P2 is Simco Hungarian team. There we go. They're on their 100th lap. THR is second, lap behind with Robert Wiesenmuller, and then we've got Hell Racing Team Hungary with Adam Kuhn, a further 2 laps behind THR at the moment, which is huge. And THR and Simco both looking strong for the P2 category. GT1 is led by No Limit Motorsport, unsurprisingly, with Christian Fej in the car. But RC.co.uk with Alexandra Amelot is in the same lap behind, so quite close there. And third is F1 Cast Racing, of course, with Robbie Bouchon. He's 2 laps behind, though. So once again, GT1, top 2's quite clear. Still plenty that can happen. And then, of course, you've got the GT2 class. And this is quite interesting. Xavier put it to me. Sim Racing for Holland, the GT2 team, leads that with Wilfred van der Brink. They are currently 2 laps or so ahead. The next team, Brigata, also is Sander van Schaik in the car, and that's quite extraordinary for the lead car to be 2 laps ahead already. But anyway, we've got Scuderia Bolas Negro with Rogier Decline, apologies, another further lap behind. So the GT2 class is actually really spread out, whereas the other classes, the top 2, top 3, quite close together, guys, actually.
There's an incident happened a couple of laps ago. Robert Wiesenmuller in the THR P2 car, he went off the final sector into the barrier, lost his front end, and I think he had a puncture as well.
Yeah.
He's pitted a lap or so ago, and he's back on the track. But a real scare for the THR team.
I just want to mention that Scott Webber's now in the car for Daredevils, and I think he's currently taking some time out of the cars ahead. So we'll probably see Daredevils, hopefully at the end of Webber's stint, gaining a position. And of course, I'm getting back in the car after Webber, so I hope he actually gets ahead of a car ahead. Less work for me.
I'd say... Oh, absolutely. And I think less work for James Johnson and Oscar Hardwick, who, well, I think it's more work for them even, sorry. But they have now left us, so thank you very much, Oscar and James, for joining us. It's lovely to have other people in the commentary booth, and if you would like to join us, then just please do pop on to Race Department TeamSpeak, pop along into our commentary booth. We'd love to hear your thoughts, love to talk to you. But
actually, just look here. Speaking of people in TeamSpeak, look about 2 channels up. ORM Course Racing. Look at how many people are just in that channel.
Holy!
That's like half of freaking RD on there.
That's a pretty big operation. But then again, if you look at teams like Satellite Racing and SRVN a bit further up, and THR as well. THR have got 5, but some of the couple of teams up there, they've got pretty much like 8, 9 people each in those channels anyway. So it's a big operation for some of these guys.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, like I said, we've got 7 drivers, and every single one of those drivers are helping each other. And you know, that's what RDLMS is about. It's the team element of sim racing. Everything else is just a sprint race and going as fast as you can just to get all the results and you know, get your ratings up, sort of thing. And RDLMS brings everybody, all of those drivers together for a team championship, for a team element, and that's why it's so attractive. That's why so many people come to the RDLMS. It's just so that, you know, they can have that experience of being in a team and working with people, working together, just to pull your thumb out and get a great result.
If you don't like the team, you can always move to other.
Absolutely, yeah. I believe we are still actually on stream 2 of 7, I believe. So still quite. I think there's a small bit to go before we head on to the third. But yeah, we'd just like to remind you that if your stream does stop, either in the Race Department chat or if you're watching on YouTube, well, actually, no, there's different procedures. If you're on Race Department, then simply refresh the page, and you should get the third part of the 7 parts of the stream to watch. And of course, if you're on YouTube, then what we suggest you do is either subscribe to Race Department, or if you don't fancy subscribing to Race Department, then go off the video, head onto their channel, and part 3 of 7 should be up, available as soon as this part finishes. So let's have a look. Oh, sorry, go on.
So one thing that quickly caught my eye just a while back when we was talking about other bits and pieces, that the F1 Cast Racing Lamborghini is missing its front end. and it has been for quite a while. I noticed. It's been driving around now without a front section, but it seems to be perfectly fine. It's the Robbie Beaucham's F1 Cars Racing black and red Lamborghini. If you take a look at it,
I
it
see,
has
yeah.
has no front section on it, so which is a bit, I thought was a bit odd, but it doesn't seem to be slowing it down too much because it's doing a fairly good job at the moment. So it's yeah, excuse me. I just thought that was quite interesting to point that out. The fact that they haven't. I'm pretty sure that I'm not sure if that they might try and possibly fit another one when they come in for another stop, but obviously whatever impact that he took that forced the piece of bodywork to part company with the wonderful Lamborghini, then obviously it's not slowing him down too much because he's having no trouble whatsoever getting past these GT2 cars.
No, I'm having a little look at it now, and from what I can see, the bonnet's gone, but not necessarily the front splitter.
No.
And the front splitter, of course, is one of the most important parts of these cars. Without the front splitter, your turn-in is practically zero. And so, perhaps they think that they can go on without a bonnet. As you rightly say, it seems to not be affecting him too much, and clearly one less pit stop is, you know, excellent for time. And so, yeah, clearly if it's not causing him much problems, then good on him. Driving without a bonnet is pretty tough as we go over the crest of the hill and lets Johnny Bonetier pass in the P2 car. And it's quite funny, actually, because some cars, when they receive damage, seem to go better. It seems to fix problems, and it's always bizarre when that happens,
You joke about
actually.
that, but that's actually... You joke about that, but that's true. I mean, actually, before my stint even started, Matt decided he was going to be a bit foolish and whacked the pit wall on entry, giving me some damage to work with. The car was actually still perfect, you know. So I mean, you really have to like lose a wheel or lose your whole bonnet for the car to really have an effect, or for the damage to really take effect on the car.
Right, let's have a little look now at the race department chat, see what's going on. I remind you all, we're looking at doing quite a few Q&A bits in the next 2 hours or so. So if you have a question for us, then either hop onto Twitter and tweet with the hashtag RDLMS, that's hashtag RDLMS, and you can ask us whatever you want, questions, facts. Wayne Reed's been doing it, and a lot of people have been doing it as well, so please just send us in your questions there. Alternatively, you could ask us questions in the race department chat, and I have noticed that a certain Davey Lareris is not very happy about us talking about F1 racing doing real racing, apparently. And I think I had a little bit of a discussion with the guy on the DTM YouTube broadcast earlier, and what do you think of guys who think certain things about racing, like, will not take any other opinion that a certain type of racing is better than the other? You know, do you think there's any point in trying to sway their opinion?
I don't think you can compare. Everything is, you know, almost every type of major racing organizations like Formula One and Le Mans series and stuff. It's all like sort of individual. It's all its own thing. You can't really compare them. I mean, the racing is all different. I mean, you can't compare rally to circuit racing, to closed circuit racing. You know, I think it's all about preference, and you know, you can't compare a whole bunch of types of racing. I don't think it's fair to all the different racing organizations and all the different like racing classes, should I say?
I think I think personal opinion is absolutely right. But do you think it's right of people to judge you for what type of racing you like? I mean, myself personally, I like all sorts of racing, from Formula One to the feeder series of GP2. I also like British touring cars, world touring cars, and I do like to dabble in a bit of world endurance racing, like the RDLMS itself. But for example, MotoGP just does not interest me, and yet to some of my friends it's one of the best things in the world. But back to the main crux of the question, do you think it's right for people to judge others on their likes of racing, or do you think that in the end it just really doesn't matter, and as long as you like motorsport, there really shouldn't be anything to complain about?
No, I think that people are entitled to like whatever kind of racing that they like. I think that as long as people respect, you know, I mean, I respect, you know, for any American, like North American people who love NASCAR, I respect them fully. I mean, I sometimes watch NASCAR myself because sometimes I don't mind a bit of oval racing like that. But whenever what I don't appreciate from some people is when, pardon me for using the term here, but when people shove it down other people's throats that this kind of racing's better than the other. In all fairness, every kind of racing's as good as each other. Really. Each sector of racing has its pros and its cons. It has its good bits and it has its bad bits. It has its flaws. But there are always going to be hardcore fans of whatever format motorsport. There might be some people who adore touring cars but can't stand Formula One, and it doesn't matter what you say about, oh, they're bringing in these kind of tyres or they're doing this with the aerodynamics. Doesn't matter what you say, they're always going to be very, very patriotic, and they're going to be very loyal to that sport, and they will defend it to the hilt. So, say for example, if there was some very poor driving standards in touring cars one weekend, for example, and someone criticised that person who loves touring cars more than anything will probably stand by them and defend it to the hilt and say, well, to be fair, the driving standards aren't always that or fantastic in single seaters either. So they'll defend by attacking, which is, I don't know. I think all motorsport fans should be able to relate to each other, and they should all be able to just get along with each other, because we've all got a common interest, we've all got a common ground, a common love, which is motorsport and all things with 2 or 4 wheels that go fast, and that drivers and riders, if it is bikes, race competitively, and there shouldn't be anything wrong with that. There shouldn't be. It's like you get this thing in Australia when you've got the whole kind of Ford versus GM, Ford versus Holden fight that goes on every year. Between people, you get people in Australia who adore Ford, but literally think that Holden is the devil, or Holden is just it's sacrilegious, if I want to use that term, and vice versa. People who love Holden but can't stand people who like Ford, or think that people who like Fords are like the Antichrist or anything like that. But I think everyone just has to respect the fact that we all love motorsport, and there might be different forms of it. And yeah, not all motorsport is the same. Different types of motorsport have different regulations. They have different kind of drivers, different circuits, different locations. We all just need to come together and appreciate. Look, we all have one common ground, that whatever kind of motorsport it is, we love and we enjoy motorsport in whatever shape or form it is. I'm not the most massive fan of bike racing, but I have to admit I do enjoy watching MotoGP and I do enjoy watching the Isle of Man TT. But I will always say that I prefer cars because there's something about 4 wheels over 2 that I seem to enjoy more. But and there's other people who, of course, outside it will say, motor racing's boring. And effectively, people only say it's boring because they don't understand it, because they don't really, and because they don't want to understand it, because they don't want to be, because they think that if someone tries to explain it, they'll be bored. But it's like, if you, say for example, take someone who doesn't really have interest in racing, take them to an actual live Grand Prix and get them to stand there and go, all right, stand here, and an F1 car comes past them at full chat. I'd probably guarantee you, probably 9 times out of 10, they'll probably just stand back and go, wow, like that, because they've never experienced that before. They watch what's on the TV, and they only get projected what either the television companies or the marketing people want them to see. They never get to properly experience Formula One, because unless they go to a circuit or they go to an event where they get to see a Formula One car running, a current Formula One car running live and up close, and doing donuts or whatever, or flying past at 150 miles an hour or whatever it's doing. I think people just need to open their eyes a bit more, whether they're massive motorsport fans or not, and just appreciate motorsport in whatever form it is for what it is, and that is a great spectacle and a great sport in itself. And there are the money sides of it, and there are the business sides of it, but then the competition side is the whole, the racing and the passion and the spirit that it all evokes in all of us. So, I mean, it's like football. Yes, people have got different teams that they support, but the common ground is everyone loves football, and I think it's the same with motorsport.
Scott Woodwiss, the defender of peace, ladies and gentlemen. And from that, we move on to our questions for Le Mans. We've had a few of the bid, and I'd like to start off with Wayne Reed once again, and he wants to get another update on the UK NL's team from GT1. Yes, they did get back to the pits, and yes, they are out again, the GT team. He is currently 11th in class, however, with George Poll. So they are out, but quite a way behind. We then have a question from Mike Bell. And he asks, if you could make a 4-driver team for the RDLMS, who would you pick? And I think we'll start with Scott again, as I believe that you have to leave in a bit.
Close. The question was, if I had to pick a 4-driver RDLM team.
Yeah, so if you could pick 4 drivers from the RDLMS from this season, who would you choose?
I haven't really watched too much of it, but I'm going to judge it off what I've seen of what I saw at Road America and also today. I think probably I would, for his sheer pace and being able to get back up there, I think possibly, first one because he's been pretty quick at the start and the stints he was doing was fantastic. I'm probably going to go, one of them would probably be Steph Amiel, I think. He did a really good job in the P1 car. Second guy would probably be Jesper Tolborg. He did a fantastic job. When he took over the THR Acura, he really did an amazing job to get that car up and taking chunks of time out of the leader, out of I think it was Magnus. I've forgotten his surname. Sorry, but Magnus. It was the ME racing car he was chasing down. He did an amazing job to chase that down and bring that gap down. Eventually, the leader made a mistake and Tolborg was through, and now see that THR are in a great position to potentially win this. I think that's all down to probably Jesper's driving, did a fantastic job. So Steph Amiel, Jesper Tolborg, and drivers who've done a pretty good job today. Who's been doing what? I'm trying to look at a lifetime for a bit of inspiration. I think the guy who's doing pretty well at the moment in the lead car, probably Rafael Bohorodits. He's doing a pretty decent run at the moment. He's totally got the gap to almost 2.5 minutes over the No Limit Motorsports car, and that's a pretty amazing feat for him to be able to put his foot down like that and do a great job. So I'm going to say Rafael Bohorodits, and then for the 4th driver, okay, this is a hard one. I am going to very quickly pick. Crikey. I think because of his great drive earlier on. Sorry?
Yourself.
I don't sim race. I sim race on the console, but I don't sim race on the PC yet.
I see.
Yes. But I think probably just going to go with. I think as he did such a good job in the to help get that car up to where it was in the position before he handed it over to Javier. Probably going to say Matt's. Got his surname now, Jesus. Matt Richards. Matt Richards did a really good job in that car. So yeah, I'm probably going to go with Steph Amiel, Rafael Bohorodits, Jesper Tolborg, and Matt Richards.
That's strange. I'm sure Matt will be over the moon with that. I think he's.
Well,
I think he's a driver that.
So
he's a driver that looks. Well, be gone.
No, so I think he did a really good job to get to when Lars blew the engine on their car. I think Matt stepped in and he really put in a super stint to get that car back up to where it was in the field by the time he handed it over. So I think that it shows that he's got a really good skill in running a comeback drive like that, and I think that he will probably do pretty well in that kind of situation again. So yeah, that's why I picked him, probably because of today's result, today's performance so far.
Right, well, thank you very much for your contribution there, Scott. And I think we'll release you before we get you into another huge conversation.
Yeah, I've got to get ready for work because I've got a very big night at work tonight. So part of me's not looking forward to it. So I've got to just get myself focused for it. But yeah, if anyone who's interested, I should be back to do kind of like the graveyard shift, as in like probably in the early hours, like probably around about the 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning time. Just I don't think there's anyone covered for that just yet. So at least I've got some kind of voice to put to the action for a while. But yeah, have fun, guys, for the evening shift, and I shall, if I don't catch you in the evening, but I might possibly catch you for the last few hours of the race and the finish, maybe, if I'm still awake by then or alive. but yeah, have fun, guys, and I shall catch you later.
Oh, enjoy your work, sir, and thank you very much for joining us. So we move on to Xavier, who would be your 4 drivers for your team?
Just give me 5 minutes quickly.
Okay. To David Carter, who would be your 4 drivers for your team?
Well, this is down to who I know and who I've watched over the past year or so driving. 2 I've definitely got nailed down is Jesper Talborg and James Johnson, because obviously the 9-hour stint he did, it just shows how, flexible he is, consistent, etc. sort of thing. So that was a wonderful achievement. That's why I'd have him in there as well. Obviously Jesper as well. The other 2 would probably be quite difficult. I'll be brutally honest with you. I think Martin Bolgen would be one I'd pick as well. I'm not sure why, but I think he's been pretty decent. And the other one, this is a bit more difficult than I thought it'd be. I'll be brutally honest with you, because there's a lot of names and a lot of very good names. But I'll go for Horoditz, like Scott Woodward said. I've been watching him constantly for the past 20 minutes, and he hasn't put a single foot wrong. So sorry it wasn't already pre-planned, but that's my 4 drivers who I've seen and who I know from the past.
Let's go for me now. I'm putting the question to Xavier again. Right, so there's your question, Xavier. So you think about it over the next 5 minutes. For myself, I think first of all, I would absolutely go for James Johnson. Like yourself, David, I think he's done an absolutely outstanding job this season in the THR in both terms of recovery drives and normal drives. He's just a consistent driver and a good guy to go with that as well. Secondly, I'd have Scott Webber on my team, purely for his absolutely amazing race strategies. He's someone who really knows how to pressure other teams and how to keep a certain position which they want to keep. And I think his experience and his know-how would be invaluable to a team. It may not be the fastest necessarily, but well, I think everything else about him completely makes up for it.
Yeah.
Who else would I have? I would also have Robert Wiesenmuller from the THR P2 team. Again, a seriously consistent driver. And a good one at that as well.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's been one of the big names here in the RDLMS this season, but I think that's why I'm kind of attracted to his style of driving. He just gets the job done, and he gets the job done well. I think it's good to have a bit of consistency in there as well. And who would I have as my 4th driver? I'd have Ree Martins. From Mar Motorsport, because he never gives up. He absolutely never gives up.
I've raced him a couple of times, and he was a teammate in a series that I did. And I'll tell you what, no disrespect to him, he's not the fastest driver in the world, but he gives it 100%.
Completely.
So so it's not all about being fast as well. That's another thing about sim racing. As long as you are clean and a safe driver and you give it your all, then that's perfection, I think. That's a good
and
hello.
Sim race. Hello, I've seen a THR spin there on our broadcast. That's definitely the P1 car. So the THR P1 car was spun with Chris Butcher in there, so it seems to be back going. But yeah, I think that's my idea of a good RDLMS team. I don't think speed is necessarily the way to go. It's the all-round package which I look for, and in Webber, Johnson, Wiesenmuller, and Martins, I think you have a team which will stick together, support each other, but more importantly, do well through grit and determination.
I mean, that's it, especially when you prepare for such a massive event like this. There is no way that you can give up as well, and I think you just got to have that raw determination to get you through the 24 hours as well. I think personally. And there's a car wide there, but he's rejoined the track.
I'm very happy to announce that we have James Johnson back in the room with us.
Yeah, I thought I wanted to spend some more time in here.
Oh, it's lovely. Thank you very much. We're just we've been discussing if we had a choice of 4 drivers for an RDLMS team, who would we choose, James? And I believe you've been chosen for 2 of them.
Oh.
You've been chosen for David's and my RDLMS team.
Oh.
So, definitely one of the more sought after drivers here in this series. You are.
Oh, okay. I didn't think that.
Ooh, I feel special. But yeah, we're just waiting to hear on Xavier's 4 drivers now. Have you had time to think?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's tough because I mean there's so many great drivers in the series, and there's so many sort of big names, should I say, in the sim racing racing community that are doing this this league or in this championship. I think the first driver I'd pick is Rob Vissenmuller. I mean, he's an excellent guy, awesome to speak to, always very helpful with us, and you know, he's fast, consistent. He can get into any car and just be quick. He knows how to set up a car just for it to feel good. So I think he'd really help out in that sort of a sense. I think the second driver I would go for Jimmy Hughes. Jimmy Hughes, of course, multiple RDTCC champion. Gets also the same as Rob, brilliant guy to speak to. You know, very helpful as well. He knows a lot about like setting up cars and stuff. Of course, he had studied racing engineering, motorsports engineering in real life. So I mean, he's got a bit of knowledge in that sense, and he can bring that to the table. And he's also extremely quick, which is something great to see. I mean, in this event, he was with 4 Empires Maniacs, and he's actually sort of got him into a good position, which is pretty cool. He didn't qualify too well, but he did sort of get the team up to where they are now, which is 27. Third driver, it's a tough one because I mean, there's a lot. Like I said, there's a lot of great drivers to choose from. I think I'm going to go into my own team and say Lars Brookman, even though he blew the motor. I mean, it was an accident, but I mean, he's one of the most consistent drivers I've ever raced against and ever raced with. And he always puts the pressure on, no matter what, and he always gives it his 100%. He's also an awesome guy to speak to, and also extremely helpful. Knows how to do setup on the car. We have similar driving styles, similar interests, and he's just an awesome guy. And I'm really lucky to have him in the team, or to be in the team with him, should I say. Fourth driver, I can't shy away from James. James Johnson, because just the commitment that James shows. I mean, he did a 9-hour stint. Any other team would say, I'm just quitting, this is ridiculous. Not James. James did a full 9-hour stint. So just for the pure commitment, and also James has set some blistering times on the practice surface as well. I mean, he's an extremely quick driver, extremely consistent as well. As we saw, I mean, he freaking kept it on the track for 9 hours as well. So yeah, I think that would be my 4-car team. Vissenmuller, Brookman, Jimmy Hughes, and James Johnson.
I think from all of us there, then, I think it's quite clear to say that the driver of the season, possibly, like let's say a driver of the season contender would be James Johnson, because he's the name that just keeps on cropping up.
I'm just going to say
maybe we can ask the audience. Maybe we can ask the audience what your 4-car team would be in the RDLMS.
Yeah. You gonna say something though, James?
No. I don't know what to say. Really? I just put my effort in and I just keep going. If I keep plugging away, something good happens.
And actually,
that's usually what happens when you plug away.
Yeah, indeed. I'd quite like to know actually from you, James. Obviously, I guess you can only really talk in terms of direct competition about the P1 field that you're in. But who do you respect most as a driver in the current field of RDLMS this season? You know, who've you enjoyed battling against the most, or you know, if you can even comment on the lower classes, who have you found to be the most helpful drivers in helping you get past them?
Most helpful drivers, I would mainly say you gotta go with Wilfred in GT2. The sim racing Harlem guys, they're always great when you're trying to pass them. They don't make it too hard for you. They try and cater as much as they can for you. To be honest, there's times where you just can't do it, but you know these things happen. You can't always pass at one point. GT1. It's pretty much most of the GT1s. There's a few teams in there that I wouldn't put myself or wouldn't like to be around, but yeah, generally they're all great. P2s, there's no standout again. You can't really say much, but in P1s, I just battle. It's great battles with all of them really. You got Phoenix, you got people like Casper, Peter Enders, you know, and then you got Steph Amiel. Just outright speed right there, really. And then you've got No Limit. They're just you got Benjamin Tierman, like, really? Wow. I don't know. It's just outright speed everywhere. And then
It's just like it's such a high quality field that it's hard to pick out someone.
yeah, it's really hard to really pick someone out because you've got different qualities between drivers. You've got people that have got outright speed, then you've got drivers with consistency, then you've got drivers with spatial awareness. You know, it's just different areas. You can't really pick someone. You can pick an all-round driver based on all these things, but you can't. You'd have to spend a lot of time analyzing data and everything, you know. But if you're out there, you just, you know, there's not everything's gonna go the right way. Some drivers might have bad luck, you know, but or might not just you might just come across a car at the wrong time. But you can't really say that anyone's really bad.
Sorry, I've just a spin there from Diamond Batal. He's lost his rear wing somewhere and his bonnet, but he's just had a spin. But his car is ruined.
Oh dear.
He's in the
third
sector.
He wasn't doing. Oh no! Team Bar Motorsport.
No!
Oh no! Damon, get back to the pits, sir. We need you to finish. Oh dear.
Oh.
Oh.
I don't know nothing. I ain't seen it.
Oh dear. Right. Well, I was gonna. Oh yes, of course. Sorry. There's another question here, from Wayne Reed, via Twitter #RDLMS, and he asks, if you could race in the real Le Mans, what class would you race in and why?
What,
And
for
I
me?
think yeah, I think we'll go around the table. I think we'll start with James, as you are probably the most qualified driver of all of us here.
I'd just say P1. I just enjoy driving cars with high downforce. I think I'd actually enjoy driving a real P1. It's all downforce. You're basically on the edge all the time. I just enjoy the thrill, really. It's always on the edge. So yeah, it'd have to be P1 for me.
David?
Sorry, I was just a bit distracted there. Either GT1 or GT2, personally, because... Budaroos is having a disaster here. Sorry to disturb you, but he's just had 2 spins in 2 corners.
Oh dear.
I don't know his name. Sorry, I can't pronounce it properly.
What team is he?
He is RC France Racing Team.
That's the P1, right?
That's
Yeah.
P1.
P1 car. He's had 2 spins in 2 corners. GT1 Corvette run into him, skits Pazak, went into him, and then he got going again. But he's got a puncher as well.
Oh dear, and Robin Haas for THR. This could potentially be a change for the lead here. Robin Haas for THR is on the same lap as Bohorodits.
Yeah.
Where is he down the road? Yeah, I see.
No limit motorsports for Robin Haas.
Yeah.
1 minute, I'm just gonna go up to my channel again.
No worries. Sorry, yeah,
Just
no,
tell
it
them the
is.
good news.
Yeah, it is No Limit Motorsport. You're absolutely right. But THR is the next guys down the road, I believe. No, they're not. Apologies.
No, we're a bit further down.
Further, yeah, 3 laps behind. But I think it is No Limit that's next guys. And I see.
Sorry, is that Team RC with no
Yeah,
front
yeah.
end plate there? Yeah.
Yeah, but Horoditz has had a crash and he's into the pits now.
Yeah, you see, this is what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Is just losing focus. You know, it's getting later in the race, and
the thing is,
becoming
though,
harder for the drivers to sort of just stay focused.
I think Robin Haas is miles behind, though. I mean, he's only really.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that.
You know,
he's had a spin.
Oh no!
Exactly. No, not same corner. Sorry. I thought it was, but it wasn't.
Oh dearie me! A chance to possibly
That was
fight for
close.
the lead, and he's dearie me. Bohoroditz has had a real issue in the pits here. He's rolling forward into his pit box. What is happening to his car? He's still rolling.
Yeah, the engine's still going. It's not run out of fuel or anything. It's just cruising down the pit lane at very slow speed, which is very strange.
No, Luke might still have a chance here.
Finally come to a standstill. Engines turn off. So
Yeah, I think he's in the pit box now.
No, he's rolling back. I think.
Well, that's really I think maybe he's requested the pit stop a little bit too late. He now has to go out for another lap.
Oh dear.
That's actually what happened with myself and Matt when we were doing a driver swap. If you do request a pit stop too late, then the crew doesn't come out quick enough, and you have to go out and do another lap.
Oh dear.
Yep, and there he goes again, you
Bohoroditz.
see.
Yep.
Oh, he's trying.
He's trying. I think. Oh, there we go. Yep,
There we go.
He's now in the pits. Finally.
Finally.
But all this kerfuffle has meant that Robin Haas, I believe, he's just coming up to the final
Oh, there's another
complex
P1.
now.
There's another P1 with no nose. It's the
Who is that?
it was the SAG team again.
Oh, Sky.
Christian
And where's
Alepa.
Bohoroditz? Right, so here we go. Robin Haas. He's going to make it clean past Rafael Bohoroditz, and Haas and No Limit now take the lead of this race. I see the next car down the road is Mark de Vries in the SRVN car. He's nearing the lap, but I don't think he'll get out ahead of Bohoroditz unless the damage on that RC car is significant, and this could be huge for the RC team. Have been leading this race comfortably by about a lap, and here comes De Vries actually up to the pit complex. It's going to be close. Just about to enter the final chicane now.
And Jimmy Dion's now in the RC France car, so they've had a
Right,
driver
so-
swap.
Driver swap, Ginny Dimon, he comes out ahead quite nicely, ahead of Mark de Vries, but they have still lost the lead of the race, nevertheless, to No Limit Motorsport.
Oh, Scott Webber's in the
Real
pits. Scott
nightmare.
Webber is now in the pits.
Oh, there we go, so the Daredevil's in the pits as well. Yeah, I'm just trying to see, was it the Sky Racing team who had the no-nose?
The Skype, yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Oh, dearie me, and they've got a puncture there as well. Tomek Camp, they just came in for this round. Not having much luck of it, unfortunately.
That's good for us. In THR.
Absolutely, I mean, you're on what, lap
who's
111?
this?
Sky
Marco
was 112.
Sorry,
It's
Marco
113
Felix is
now,
chasing
isn't
down
it?
Penfield.
Who?
Marco Felix is chasing down Chuck Penfield.
Oh, this is
from
from P3, isn't
Scuderia
it?
Bolas Negro. Yes, that is.
Yes, it is. Perhaps we should have a little focus on the GT2 section of the field now, which has been quite separated out. We said that first and second were quite close together, and then obviously Scuderia Bolas Negro was a bit behind, and Bolas Negro
Yeah.
quite a largely supported team here at RDLMS, and well, Felix, I should say, really starting to get on the back of Penfield here.
Yeah, look at that. He's right on in there. That must mean Penfield's tyres
Although
are gone.
that said, Penfield is a GT1 car.
He can't be.
He's on
Chuck
my screen.
Penfield?
Penfield is definitely in the Ferrari there.
Yeah. And Felix is in the Porsche GT2.
God, that's strange. On my
Yeah.
that's weird. On my R Factor screen, it says he's in Ferrari. Oh no, he is
Felix?
GT2. There's more than just a Porsche in the GT2 class, isn't there? This is what happens when I go without
You know that
ice
there's a race
cream for
going
too
on?
long. Yeah. I was
Yes.
telling James Johnson earlier I needed an ice cream break. This is why.
I told
This is
him I
why.
needed one more than Jane.
And so there we go. Either way, Marco Felix for ORM Corsa has taken third place away from Chuck Penfield of Scuderia Bolas Negro, and the Bolas Negro fans are, I can imagine they're probably in disbelief their car once again forced out of the podium position.
I do believe there's a stream switch within a couple minutes.
Alright, so yeah, we are going to have a screen switch within a couple of minutes. So that screen switch we've been promising for about the last half an hour. It will come, ladies and gentlemen. It will come. We're not trying to troll you here. It will arrive sooner or later. You can promise that much.
Currently, actually on the broadcast, we're watching one of those GT2 Porsches.
Are we?
This is RMI Motorsports, and currently the slowest car on the circuit. Full stop. I mean, if they go any slower, then RDTV might overtake them.
Oh,
The broadcast car. That is.
That is hard.
They are. Their
You've got to
quickest
love-
time is a 4:03.
got to love
T-Mar
the
is not
McDonald's
last.
liveried car though.
What? Didn't
What
know.
are McDonald's
What are
liveried
you
car.
looking at here, mate?
What
don't-
are you living
what?
on?
Wait, what are we looking at?
We're looking at the RMI
That's-
Motorsport car.
The
It's the red and
GT2.
yellow of McDonald's.
There's
McDonald's.
obviously
don't
too
think it-
many
I
they've
don't
had,
think
obviously. That's why they're going so slowly.
Are you sure you've not got sunglasses on?
Big Macs.
'Cause it's a bit dark for red.
I don't think that's McDonald's. What is that?
It's
Oh, the
like a well, it might be like a tanned McDonald's logo, you could say, or something like that. Out in this weather.
European McDonald's.
Yeah.
Refresh has happened, by the way.
Yay!
Has it? Oh, excellent. Right
Can you
then.
hear me?
Right, so yes, welcome to part 3 of 7 of the Race Department RDLMS Le Mans